Good morning. Hopefully, everybody's having a fantastic week and a fantastic day. It is Thursday, the 5th of February, and we're starting this live stream off a little bit early. There's a reason for that. The markets are literally bleeding. Well, the crypto market is for sure. Literally every single thing on this watch list is red, and red in a pretty big way. We're going to take a look at everything. We potentially have the Japanese yen firming up here this morning. The VIX is gapping way up. A lot of stuff going on. You're literally, like right now, you're literally trading up at the week high on the VIX. It's Thursday. So, I mean, technically speaking, this could be the high. You know what I mean? Let's go up there and look real quick. So here's your VIX weekly candle. For the last several weeks, we've been pointing it out on this channel anyways, that the VIX has been making higher closes every week. Higher close, higher close, higher close. And we know that big money was positioning themselves for for a big spike. And it looks like it's trying to build that up and take off and go. S&P this morning, futures anyway, just liquidated pretty much the weekly low, so you have fresh weekly lows happening. I don't want to get too excited here, but things are starting to look like we could see a pretty nasty day. As far as when it comes to crypto, Bitcoin is already like massively oversold. However, that doesn't mean anything, right? If you have fearful selling taking place and long liquidations taking place, then this thing can just drop. You could see a nasty move today. Bitcoin's already down 5%, 4.65%, and we're not even we're like, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. Like, there's some serious mojo going on here. It could easily bounce from this area. You're testing the 2021 yearly high right here. It's literally the only objective level for potential support. On the daily, you're literally below everything. The only thing that's really kind of under us here is going to be the weekly 200 EMA, and the red line here is the simple. Massively overbought on the daily time frame, as you can see down there at 19.93. I mean, this thing was printing bearish divergence or bullish divergence yesterday. Today, you got fresh lows. So clearly, with everything going on out there, people are concerned. This happens literally every single time we have a bear market. Bear markets go down fast and hard. Elevator up, or take the stairs up, elevator down, if you will. So yeah, it's a fearful narrative. There's a lot of them too. You got like the Fed, you got AI, you've got BIP 110, a soft fork happening on Bitcoin. You've got people discussing MicroStrategy potentially liquidating. We're going to talk about all of that. But as far as we can go here, this is the 5th red month in a row. So, I mean, we're probably getting closer to a bounce than not. If we go look at the liquidation levels down here, you can see there's really not much down here. And then if we look at the liquidation map, which is my favorite way to look at liquidity, this is just an indicator. It's not actual liquidity, but they use, past performance and whatnot. But you can see even on the daily here on Binance, there's not much short side or long stop losses left to get. It is very one-sided down here. So a bounce, capitulation style bounce, literally could happen today. We'll see, but it could. Here's what I want to show you. This is 1 year out. Literally a year. And I've never seen this before, and ever. This is crazy. Look at this red line down here is flat on the floor. Like, even if you push down to 60K, you're only looking to liquidate $500 million. You could just literally go the same distance to the upside and grab almost 3 because of the shorts, scalping and whatnot. Their stops are real close, not far away at all. We could see a big move to the upside. If you are looking for shorts, be careful. Obviously, you're on the right side of the trend. The trend is aggressively down here. So you're on the right side of it. Just be very, very careful. Like I said, we're seeing the Japanese yen firm up a little bit this morning. We're actually looking for the Euro USD to smoke Monday's low, and then we want to see what happens after that. If it gets down in here and then fails to push down to the yearly opening range, we're going to open up a long here on Euro USD, anticipating that today is a potential trap. As far as positions, I've got a few on, but I'm looking to trade hype. This is my favorite trade for a bearish move. Here's the problem. This thing is bullish. It's up this week. It was up last week. Literally every cryptocurrency on the planet almost was down last week. Not this. This was up 50%. So it has been on our watch list since last week. We attempted to short it yesterday morning for the Patreon live stream. We were unsuccessful. We ate 3 stops on it. It ultimately rolled over yesterday at the new day open, literally. So if we go look at the 1900 candle here, you can see right here, that's this candle. That was your new day open. It literally rolled over, set support here at the monthly VWAP, bounced up, and on this lower high bounce, I shorted it. I faded it. I faded it at the London session, and boom. So I've already taken profits on this trade. I am looking to add to it. I want to get it back up into here if possible. Even a little bit higher would be better. If we could get an add at 33.48, that would be phenomenal in my opinion. Like I said, I've already made money on this trade, so if you are going to trade it, make sure you're aware of your risks. Make sure you're aware of the money you're going to lose if you're wrong, because since this is so bullish and still poised bullishly, if Bitcoin does have a capitulation style bounce today, this thing could rock and roll to the upside. Sellers have been trying to short this for 2 weeks because the crypto market has been so negatively, the sentiment has just been absolutely on the floor in the crypto market. So as you can imagine, anytime, this isn't an altcoin. It is an altcoin, but it isn't a shitcoin, right? It actually has value. It's an exchange, and it's a really good exchange, to be honest with you, the way that they have a good solid pumpamentals, if you will. So but everybody's been shorting, trying to catch, this to be nuked. And I would say there's a lot of squeezing that could take place here if Bitcoin does have that move. I don't know that it is going to have that move. So obviously I have a much more bearish bias here today. We're also looking to short gold. Yesterday we discussed this in depth. This is a lower high bounce. Big money does not sell their positions in the midst of a massively volatile move lower. They do not sell. They do not get liquidated, therefore they do not sell. They wait. They wait for the bounce. When the bounce happens, then they start to sell into that rising market, and that is what we're kind of seeing here. I was watching the 5K mark, as 5K is just a big figure number. It's, got a lot of, people that didn't get out at 56. I'm sure they're willing to take it at 5. You know what I mean? And we were watching something similar on silver as well. Sorry, trying to get the frogs out. But yeah, so we did see that distribution come in yesterday up at a little bit above 5. You can see that after you got up above that, you were having really big trouble trying to make fresh highs. You were just kind of flattening out here. Then you saw this little move low, And then as it rose again this morning, or last night going into this morning, again it fell. Now, you are into a potential support zone here. This is the February open. It's an objective level. You can also see that the monthly VWAP, this is the volume weighted average price, is also kind of supporting price here. So it might not roll over. What we're looking for though is if it can push up into 49.47 and reject, say around the bell, I'm going to add to this short position too. Going to add. I'm trading this on the week's platform. It's a crypto exchange, but they brought over all the metals and some stocks and things. So we've been kind of playing around with that a little bit this week. It's new to me. It's new to our community. And these things are just going to be a lot funner later on as time goes. The more and more people start jumping onto this, the better and better the liquidity is going to get. Once the liquidity is good, man, you're going to be able to size up on these things. So far, we've basically been looking for shorts on Tesla and Nvidia this week. And yesterday, the short worked out. And you're seeing a little bit of downside continuation here pre-market. Whether or not that holds, I don't know. But you lost a massive level on Tesla, being the 414.62 level. That's January's low. As long as price is trading under January's low, it's threatening lower prices. You're no longer range bound down here. This is a legitimate breakdown. And when you see confirmed volume and big moves like that, it looks like people are taking profits. So I think this will continue. You may get a spike on the bell. We don't know what direction it's going to be, right? But clearly, if we're trading under 414, we like short side setups. And then on Nvidia, also seeing it get nuked a little bit here pre-market. Yesterday was a good down day on it. Downside continuation from this day. I mean, Nvidia has been a very, very beautiful. Like, these are the trends that I'm made for right here. When these things start trending like this is where you make your money. Big money. Nvidia has been down nice for like pretty much all week. We've been trying to short it since up here. We got on it on Tuesday during the live stream, and we've just been sitting in that position. But unfortunately, there still ain't much liquidity in Nvidia and Tesla, so I can't get the correct position sizing going on it. So I'm just kind of setting in a very, very tiny short trade. But because it's been such a nice trending move, it's actually starting to make a little bit of money. So looking for shorts on gold, looking for shorts on dollar yen, and looking for shorts on hype. Those are the setups that I'm looking for today. So I wanted to go live so that way we could talk about all this stuff before the bell, get everybody situated as to what I'm looking to do. And then that way, we can get positioned if we get the moves that we need in order to get positioned. So let me show you what we're working on here. As of right now, this is the week's platform. I did take a very small position on a long. I have to. It's an objective level, right? It's 2021's high. So, I mean, if the market's going to turn around there, obviously, I don't know if it is or not, but if it is, I got to have a little risk on down there, right? Just a little bit. However, when it's flying around like this, you got to be very, very well aware of what you're going to lose. These things are moving. Like usually on a normal day for Bitcoin, I can put on a 5% stop loss, and it's a pretty good piece away from my entry. Today, I put on a 20% stop loss with a much smaller position size, and it's literally right up against my entry. That's how aggressive it is moving. It is moving a lot more today than it has in a while. So just be very, very careful, please. These are the days that will literally annihilate your account if you are not good at mitigating risk. But anyways, haven't done anything. Obviously, small position. You can see here, I've already scaled out of hype once today, made $350 from the short from the London session open. And then here's gold. You can get full-size positions on gold. The liquidity in gold is chef's kiss. It's beautiful. You can size up in there really big. You can see I've already made $710 on that trade. Looking to get repositioned. Let me pull this up real quick and I'll show you the entry. So obviously first entry was yesterday up here. We took profits on that move while I was live this morning as it pushed up, or last night as it pushed up as, you know, a dead cat bounce or whatever. That's when I looked to put on another position, got that on, and then this morning took profits as it was trading down into these lows right here because it could be support. We have broken down under the 50. This is typically what I want to see to put shorts on. The asset is making lower highs, right? Yesterday, not so much. Today, so far, it is. So let me show you what I mean by that. Yesterday wasn't really the best time to look for gold shorts because you were trading above the prior day's high. Anytime you're trading above your prior day's high, this is yesterday's candle right here, you're threatening higher prices. So just taking a blind short on that, even if you've got this nasty downside blow off, still doesn't matter. The pressures to the upside. You're better off waiting for a lower daily high and then look to get in on the short there, which is how we trade in this community. We don't want to short really bullish assets, and we don't want to get long really bearish assets unless we're doing something like what I'm doing with Bitcoin today, right? Just, it's a very small position. It's just a little, it's for the LOLs, right? It's for the lulls. It's for the lulls. Obviously, I feel like that position will get stopped out very quickly. But we're up pretty good. We made, we realized over $1,000, and we still got about $553 worth of profits to take. But like I said, I don't want to take profits on these positions. I want to size them back up. I want to get back in with the right size position. So I'm looking to put about $400 on hype, looking to put about $1,000 on gold. So we'll see if we get those moves, so that way we can get situated for a nasty day if we're going to see one. Like I said, long-term analysis, there really ain't much to go by here on Bitcoin. Everybody's looking for it to go down to the 58K region. That's where your 200 simple is on the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, the weekly 200. You're still just now, this week, today, you're just now hitting the oversold area on the weekly. This is where I want to start looking to buy Bitcoin. I love to buy Bitcoin in bear markets. I do, because every single cycle it goes up and makes fresh highs. That has been the trend. So the trend is your friend, right? I know a lot of people are thinking that this is it for Bitcoin. It's done. It'll never see 100K again. That is absolutely wrong. It's so wrong. You couldn't be more wrong. BlackRock would not be getting involved with Bitcoin if BlackRock thought Bitcoin wasn't going to go higher. BlackRock owns what, 700,000 Bitcoin at this point? MicroStrategy owns 700,000 Bitcoin at this point. Yeah, a lot of people. I'm not saying you won't see lower prices, right? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. Bitcoin could drop to 30K. As far as I'm concerned, doesn't really matter to me. I'm going to make money whatever it does. But this asset is being accumulated in a way that you can't even fathom. It is going higher eventually, in my opinion. It is just my opinion, but I am buying. So far, up until this point, I've only ever had one cold storage wallet that I, hodl my bags on. I am in the process of accumulating Bitcoin now. I'm going to build another position the same size on another cold storage wallet. So I have two cold storage wallets with equal values. So now's the time for me to start doing that. I'm just letting you know what I'm doing. Obviously, if you're super bearish and you think it's going to zero, that's fine. It has no bearing on my future potential gains, right? But obviously, I like Bitcoin. I like it long term. The soft fork is in my opinion, the most risky thing that we have ahead of us right now. But I've been listening to a few developers talk about it, and they're all pretty much saying the same thing. It really isn't going to affect Bitcoin on a fundamental level. It is a hostile takeover in a sense, right? Essentially, they are basically saying we're going to go this way, and Bitcoin should go this way, as it is a financial asset. It should only store financial data. Or they're not even saying that. They're just saying limit the file size, right? The file size needs to be smaller. I don't know anything about all that, right? I definitely need to make sure that I'm keeping one ear to the ground in there, because that's the network. That is the foundation that Bitcoin is built upon. So they're trying to get away from some ordinals and all the pictures and all that stuff, right? Get it off the chain. Start doing financial transactions and leave it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it type of thing. But we'll see. Saylor's upset about it. He's come out. He hasn't specifically said, actually, to be honest with you, no large account that has a big following that I follow and or am subscribed to has even mentioned this soft fork. I have not heard the Coin Bureau mention it. Nobody. And it's absolutely stunning to me. Saylor has basically come out and said twice now in public, he hasn't mentioned the words BIP 110, he hasn't mentioned the word soft fork, and he hasn't mentioned the Knots community or the core devs. But he is speaking in a way that if you know what you're listening to or hear what he's saying and know about the BIP 110 soft fork, you can definitely see that he is not happy that this is taking place. The timing is kind of bad, right? Timing is kind of bad, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, that's what we got. So, I mean, it's uncertainty. Markets do not like uncertainty. So if you're trading this, make sure your risk is situated. It is mitigated because it can go much, much lower. It absolutely can, especially when there's this much pent up volatility in the markets right now. I mean, you're literally seeing a lot of downside stuff happen at the same time. Gold coming off, S&P starting to roll. You've got silver down, you've got Bitcoin down, all cryptos down. The dollar had a nasty drop and will potentially continue in that direction. These are weird times, that's for sure. Starting to see some of the stocks that were accumulating now starting to roll over. Things are looking pretty bad out there. Not gonna lie. Let me pull up USD JPY real quick because it's actually starting to run away with it. So we have the daily 21 exponential moving average right here. Let me just real quick, if you don't mind, let me go make sure that it is in the right spot. Okay, so it has migrated up a little bit. Well, let's put it on yesterday's close. So yesterday's close, you're looking at one spot, 17924. Oop, 17924. All right, so that's where it was yesterday at the close. That's where we kind of want to keep an eye on it. So that is acting as a little bit of support here. You can see yesterday traded pretty much, I mean, it was for the most part an inside day until later on it broke out above the prior day. Oh, sorry, not yesterday. The day before was an inside day. Yesterday it broke out above the prior day's high and then traded right back in the range. We kind of thought today would liquidate Monday's low before it starts to bounce, if it's going to bounce. But the dollar has already liquidated those highs. So really and truly, the euro does not need to liquidate. Like I said, the dollar has already got that liquidation. It's already taken place. So if it's going to roll over, which obviously it's a big if. You got a new Fed chair coming in. He is known as an inflation hawk. It's important that I say inflation hawk. He's not a hawk on interest rates so much. He's a hawk on inflation, but he's still a hawk, right? Or known as a hawk. And that is typically bullish for the dollar. But I think this is just a dead cat bounce. I think this is a short covering rally. I think the USD JPY long is cooked. I think now that investors know that if the USD JPY continues to go up, the Fed and the BOJ will intervene. So if you're a long-term carry trade holder on the USD JPY, you know that if it continues to trade up, you're going to get intervention from 2 central banks. So ask yourself, how much juice is there left to squeeze in this lemon? Probably not much. I honestly believe that nasty Friday when the Fed was checking liquidity, I'm honestly believing that this most likely was people realizing the music is done. The money has been made on this trade. This has been going straight up almost since 2021. So the music has stopped. So I'm pretty sure people are going to start closing out some of that risk to go ahead and look for new positions or whatever. Just they're probably realizing that there's not much left to do over here. As you are way up on highs. Right here is where the BOJ intervened the second time. Right here is where the BOJ intervened the first time. So clearly their intervention is enough to stop it from going up. So it feels to me like big money would look at this. I am looking at it like it's done, right? And I feel like other big investors would. Obviously, if they have a difference of opinion, then they're probably still holding. But we'll see what it does. I hate shorting a very bullish asset, and this is very bullish long term. You're actually right now trading at or just slightly above last month's open. This is where we wanted to see it fail if it was going to roll over. If I go back into the intraday chart, you can see here people were looking for that short, and then they got smoked. And then you've seen a little bit of upside continuation happening. A nice upside dig, if you will, to just go ahead and stop them all out. Now you're seeing a little bit of a bearish reaction. So basically, for me to get short on this product, I need 4-hour closes to be under this white line. If you start seeing 4-hour closures happen above 156.98, I would be very skeptical of that short working. All right, be very skeptical. And then as far as the weekly time frame, we have a supply candle right here. Usually I use the body to outline a supply zone or the open of the bullish candle. You can see you are a long ways from testing that. However, you're just shy of testing this candle's low. So maybe people are front running that position. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. None of us know what the markets are ever going to do, ever. We can just analyze them and then put positions on and mitigate that risk. That is it. So I am already short, but like I said, if I wasn't, I would be willing to put that trade on here as long as it's not pushing in or above that white line, because that means you're pushing deeper into this candle's range, and that means you could be looking for a fresh day high. So first place to put the risk on there. Secondary place, if that trade gets stopped out, would be here or at weekly supply. I would probably wait for the full-on supply check. As you can see right here, you also have a supply zone coming off from that 4-hour candle structure there. This is initially where we were looking for the trade on this Friday. If you remember, we were live on that day because we had news, or I can't remember why we were live, but we were publicly live on this day. It was a Friday, and I literally said, if you're looking for shorts on this, if you think you're going to see downside continuation from this candle, then look for that entry at the prior 4-hour swing high. So that entry would have been right there. And as you can see, that entry played out to perfection. So the reason I'm saying that I would wait for the weekly supply zone is because if it's above the wick, then it's probably coming up in here to stop out these Friday New York session participants. I don't know. We'll just have to see, right? But I am willing to start putting the risk on here. The dollar broke down, but it didn't close the monthly candle under support. So the hawkish Fed governor or the Fed chair is definitely enough to give the dollar a bid. And where it is on a long-term chart, like you've got a trend line coming from 2011. I mean, it held there. It's literally it's been trying to hold for the last 7 months. So you did get a breakdown and close below that trend line, but you could not close below monthly support here. So obviously I don't know that the breakdown is going to continue, but I am going to position for that. As long as we're trading under January's open, I think the trade is a short. As that is the direction of the last 3 months. So December's open was the phenomenal place to look for that short trade originally. But if you missed that, you're getting an op right now. So we'll see what it does. But yeah, there's a lot of things setting up for, some big potential. I'm loving it and I'm here for it. And yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's get it. Still got an hour to the bell though. So don't get too chopped up or, don't rush anything. You're going to have a little bit of time, I think. And then again, maybe not. Maybe things are already set in motion. And I mean, Zcash is getting absolutely lit up this morning. Absolutely annihilated. This thing has been oversold since here on the 8-hour candles, and it has literally it seems like almost every candle has been a fresh low. And this one right here is brutal. If we go over and look at it, you can see this thing is down 12% today. 12. Massively oversold. I anticipate a bounce is coming, but at what price and at what time, I couldn't tell you. And honestly, I think is as oversold as everything is and has been for a while here. If you do see a capitulation style bounce on Bitcoin this week or next, the down moves or at least the aggressive down moves are probably done for a little while, right? You're probably going to go into another period, 5 to 6 weeks of choppy sideways price action. We'll see. I don't expect it to be a straight down trend all the way down to 30K, although it could get there today. If you liquidate enough people, any price is possible. I mean, these things are cooking. Obviously, I don't feel like that could happen. I'm just over exaggerating a little bit. You also have oil making a move. I think it's important to understand that as well. Oil is heavily manipulated. People set the price on oil usually, like OPEC and other organizations out there. However, whenever you see a rise in oil prices, when prices are not being manipulated or set by OPEC, that tends to be more risk off, as a rising oil prices is usually what we see during inflationary times or recessionary times, right? Now, I'm not saying inflation is going to go up. Actually, we just got a Fed governor today that said they anticipate it going down on the next print. So maybe oil's catching a little bit of a bid here because of recessionary fears. Who knows? But yeah, oil is bouncing a little bit. So there might be a long setup there. I'm not going to trade it. But let's go look at it real quick. I'm not going to trade it today. I got enough on my plate. So you can see it's actually trading into some support here, or potential support. Wait, what am I looking at up there? Yeah, U.S. oil spot. literally the same. Oh, I'm looking at the weekly. Okay. All right. So this is what we got going on here. All right. So big aggressive spike last week. Let's get rid of all these drawings. We don't need them. Big aggressive spike last week on oil. It's a fresh breakout. You broke out the prior week as well. Well, no, you didn't. Sorry. So this was the only week that you broke out. Anyways, fresh weekly breakout. So whenever we have something like this happening, especially if you're making higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, then any pullback into the open or the low of the prior week, that is where we look for those entries. So basically, we would have been a buyer at 61.19 this week had we been looking to position on oil. So that price is still going to be the price to beat for the bears. So as long as you're trading above this price, I think you could potentially look for bullish entries. I don't know if you're going to get a bullish reaction today or not, as you got some intraday support here. Let's see what it looks like on the daily. Yeah, as long as you're not trading below yesterday's low, I think you could potentially get long today. Yeah, I think you could potentially look for longs today. Yeah, I mean, you're above the daily 21, you're above the 50 on the RSI. Those are typically bullish looks. All right, and that's pretty much it. So there you go, market-wide analysis. Bitcoin getting absolutely destroyed here on the near term. And the bears are loving it. I would too. You know what I mean? I would too if I was an Uber bear or even a perma bear. I have been scalping trades to the downside on Bitcoin. The last update I put out on Bitcoin was when we got right here. And to me, that was bearish. So I put out a Saturday upload telling everybody in my community that I no longer have a bullish bias on Bitcoin. I wanted to see these higher lows hold as support on this day. Since it had such a nasty breakdown, that was also the day you lost the uptrend. You basically lost, it wasn't much of an uptrend, right? It only got above December's high, and that's when the rejection happened. So it's a high swing or a failed high swing failure pattern, right? A swing high failure pattern. You failed. You failed on a breakout. Whenever that happens, you can get bearish. So we've been bearish. We've been bearish since 115-ish, 120. Trust me, we do okay. So yeah, but I think, you know, it's probably getting close. So if you're holding shorts, you might seriously want to think about taking some profits. I don't know how much more of a move you're going to get out of this. If we do a measured move from this leg of price to the downside real quick, because you did build in a rising wedge or a bear flag-ish type of pattern right here. This is your leg of price down. This is your consolidation, your slow grind up. There's your breakdown. If you put a trend line here, you can see it clear as day, right? So this is a flagpole. This is your flag. There's your breakdown. So you should have been looking for continuation to the downside at December's open. That's what I was telling people to do. But anyways, if we put a measured move on this leg of price, now obviously it can still go much lower, but it's pretty much run its course. With volatility and with fearful selling, it could go much lower. But I like to take profits when I get moves in my direction. If you've been short on Bitcoin, you might seriously want to think about putting some of that money in the old bank account, as you will get another opportunity to hit it again. You just gotta be vigilant and catch the short. It'll be easy enough, I think, but we'll see what happens. So I'm not really interested in doing anything here, right? I'm mostly going to be focusing on this chart over here. I'm also going to be focusing on this chart right here, as this is where I want to set that entry if possible. I don't love the short because, like I said, you typically don't want to be looking for shorts when you're trading above prior day's highs, and we took out yesterday's high. All right. So you can see this 4-hour supply zone is literally pretty much right at the prior day high. So it's a little bit dangerous to take the short today. The better setup would be to let this thing break down and then try to get it on Friday when it makes that lower swing high. Try to short the lower swing high. So it could still go up today, is what I mean. Like, you've not even gotten to the midpoint of yesterday's candle yet. This is a very bullish looking candle. It is a trending candle. It's not bullish right now because it's currently trading under the open. But if it gets above the open, it is a bullish trending candle. You've already taken out the prior day high. So the market has already told us that it is more than willing to trade above that price today. Now, it does look like a rejection, though, right? Because right in here is when you started to smoke that prior day high. Right here is that prior day high. Wednesday, 1300, and then 1700. So this is your Thursday candles open. So that was Wednesday's high right there. So you've been able to trade above it. So just be careful. If you get back above it again, it could be looking to make fresh day highs. It's not trending down yet. We're a little early today. The better trade might be tomorrow. We'll see. But I'm already in it, so I'm willing to take that risk. Because if the yen firms up strongly today, and we see more risk-off sentiment across the board, then this might roll over, right? So this one, obviously we're going to keep our eyes on Tesla and Nvidia. Tesla and Nvidia do not have clean setups today. Yeah, they really don't have clean setups. Maybe a rejection above pre-market highs, 178.75. If you get a spike up into there and then a rejection, maybe you could put the short on. I don't really like Nvidia for a downtrending move as long as it's trading above January's low. I don't feel like that would happen on the bell, right? It doesn't feel like you would get that big of a bounce. But the last 2 days have been pretty nice moves. I could definitely see some short side covering on the bell. And short side covering is generally what makes these things pop, right? Oh, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, we'll see. But yeah, I like these things for continuation lower as long as they're trading under their perspective levels. As both of them just happen to be January's low. So yeah. And then let's go real quick. Take a look at gold again. Yeah, I like gold right here, 49.42 if it rejects there. If it goes above that, then it might want to make a fresh day high. All right, good morning. Let me read some of these comments real quick. Good morning. I guess I have to start waking up. No, we're not going to start this early every Tuesday and Thursday. Today's just different because there's so much volatility in the market already. I definitely want to try to get the setups out there before the bell happens, so that way I can take the trade and focus on the trade instead of analytics. Yeah. But yeah, normal times from here on out. Bitcoin is right on track, says spiritual site, or yeah, spiritualing site SHD. So obviously you're probably referring to 4-year cycle. Good morning, Chan. What's up, LMG? Bitcoin has had multiple negative percent moves on the week, but we still have a long way to the 200 week. Yep. Good morning. Good morning. Sup, long dong Danny. What's up, Slothback? How you been, my friend? Everyone panic. We're going to zero. That's what it looks like out there, doesn't it? Maybe lower, says Ed. I agree, maybe lower. And then again, maybe a massive rip your face off rally. Maybe Trump comes out and tweets something at like 10 and causes the markets to just go ballistic. We'll see. MSTR as well, please. Yeah, we'll take a look at MSTR. I am holding long shares on that. Obviously, if Bitcoin does reclaim some of this bearish move, MicroStrategy should have a decent bounce as well. We'll go take a look at it here in just a second. If I didn't get to take profits on Bitcoin or Ethereum, do you think I should worry about either hitting all-time highs again next bull cycle? I believe I don't put much faith in the 4-year cycle anymore. I think the 4-year cycle was a lot more effective when less people were in Bitcoin, right? Because more and more people would be able to position around the 4-year cycle. It happens every 4 years, so it is a very certain thing, right? However, now that you've got all these big institutions that literally have billions of dollars, I don't think they're going to really feel the same way about the 4-year cycle. So I'm just going to say this. I honestly believe Bitcoin makes fresh all-time highs. Once all the uncertainty is gone, once the soft fork happens and everything stays the same, nothing gets hurt, nothing gets destroyed, right? Everything works out. Maybe US and China resolve their issues, right? You just got to optimistically, I think it does make fresh all-time highs. I think there's just too much accumulation and attention, and yeah, you have the halving, all that stuff, right? The fundamentals on Bitcoin are still good for a moonshot, just not right now. Obviously, Bitcoin's in a bear market. It has been for a while now, but now that more and more people are starting to basically say it, it's probably getting close to the end of it. But yeah, I think it goes higher. I mean, what you do with your money is totally up to you. I'm accumulating down here, and I will continue to accumulate as low as it goes. What's up, BTWSL? Greetings. Check MYX USDT. I think this is an exchange, if I ain't mistaken. Let's go ahead and pull up another chart over here. All right. We traded that a while back. Let me pull it up on Binance, the perpetuals. Yeah, we traded this a while back. It had a pretty vicious move, as you can see here. Really huge move all the way up to 18 bucks. That has since been given back, but it definitely does look like it's being accumulated. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's a pretty good look. My problem with it is I don't know anything about it. Other than that, the structure doesn't look bad here. This is going to be last month's, so ignore that. Yeah, the structure doesn't look terrible here. When you have these long-term, like, flat patterns, sometimes they do see upside breaks and then continuation. It looks okay. I don't know anything about it. As long as it's making higher highs and higher lows, that's the direction I'd be trading it, right? I'd be bullish on it. I can tell you what I don't like. I don't like how you broke out here above the 50 and then you haven't done anything since. That's kind of concerning. But you're trading as an inside day. You're trading inside Tuesday's range. Wednesday was an inside day. It looks like today is inside of Wednesday. So you're wedging up, right? You're wedging up. So a breakout looks like it's coming. I would be more positioned for that trade. And all I mean by that is I would have been, if I was looking for this as a day trade today, I would have been looking for longs down around yesterday's low or as close to yesterday's low as possible in anticipation of that breakout occurring. But I mean, obviously it's not doing what Bitcoin is doing right now. So it's trading on its own merit and its own flows. Right now, it looks like the shorts backs are against the wall. You could see a bigger move. I'm not looking for a giant move here, but a bigger move. Maybe if you get up above Tuesday's high and reject, I'd be worried. I'd be a little concerned. Yeah. I don't like it when you have a momentous move like this and then that momentum just dries up. However, with that being said, it's only been 3 days. So 3 days is okay for upside continuation if it is being accumulated. It does look like it's being accumulated because you have higher low, higher low, higher low. So now I would want to see price respond with that upside break. If you stay up here for like 5 days or 6 days, I would be more bearish. I wouldn't love the short because it is the last 3 days you've been trending up, right? The weekly range, you're up and you're above resistance. So it's not a short setup, but you can see why it's failing here. The shorts are shorting last week's high. That's where they're getting on it. So if you look back over here on the daily, you can see it's like you can't close a daily above it. The closes are getting closer and closer though. So it does feel like it's getting ready to go. I would much rather be long on this today at the low. I'm not going to buy it up here though. Absolutely not. And I would not be putting on a short. So I like it. I think it can go up. I have also been getting notifications from Weeks about trading Forex pairs. Just got one about USD Euro. Hopefully it's Euro USD. If it's USD Euro, I guess I don't care. I mean, most Forex brokers don't have the backwards pairs like that, right? Like I can't on my Forex.com, on my Oanda accounts, I have 2 Forex accounts, and on both of those accounts, I cannot trade USD versus the Euro. I can, however, trade the Euro versus the USD. So we'll see, but that's going to be fantastic. As far as I'm concerned, the more markets that you can get on one platform, it's absolutely sweet. Absolutely beautiful. It's an amazing time to be alive, especially if you're a trader. There's just so many assets to trade. Fantastic opportunities every single day. Love to see USD JPY. Yep, we're watching it. We're watching it. Like I said, if the yen firms up, I'd be a lot less anticipatory on Bitcoin actually having that big spike today because the VIX is already up. Risk markets are already rolling over. You've seen Nvidia and Tesla both bleeding. You know what I mean? It's like, it kind of feels like if the yen also pops, then there could be some nastiness out there today. Let's go look at the yen real quick as it is up now. But you can see earlier today it was not. So this morning during the London session, the yen was actually another down day and trading under the lows. So you were actually getting a downside continuation move this morning through London. But now you're starting to see it firm up a little bit. So a yen moving higher, that is a risk off feel. It will also be a risk off feel if Swissy is also moving up. Swissy is currently up. Yeah, I mean, that feels risk off to me. When you have both the yen and the Swissy flying to the upside, that's risk off. It used to be a lot more in the past. The Swiss franc has been so bullish for all of 2025 because people were so on the fence about the markets, the macro analysts, if you will. They were so much on the fence about what risk assets were going to do in 2025. They were investing heavily into this product. So here you can see 2025 was a big bullish year for the Swiss franc. Very, very bullish. So, I mean, yeah, it doesn't look great. Doesn't look great. I mean, you just got a huge bullish run the same time the dollar fell off. So it looks like people are still positioning for risk off. As long as that is the case, we might be able to get in on this USD JPY short, and it might be a good one. Like I said, though, today might not be the day. It could be tomorrow. Tomorrow might be a better setup. We'll see. Time will tell. Let's go back over to Hypey, hype, because it is bouncing here. This is what we wanted to see. We're getting a move up here. This is your weekly 21 exponential. So let's pull up the 4 hours so I can get a good look at this thing. Up here's 4 hour supply. I actually, let's get rid of, we got December's open here. We got the weekly 21. We'll keep that line on and we'll go down to the smaller time frame. And then we'll write this up. 4H supply. All right, now we can drop down here and get a good look at it. So just a rejection here would be good enough for an ad also for me. But a rejection up here would be even better. It'd be like chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. This thing has been bullish. It set in an absolute beautiful bull trap yesterday and then puked today. So it looks like the sellers finally have control of it. Let's see what they can do with it. It's already down pretty big today. It's already down 7.8%. But yeah, we're trading under support. It's a lower low. I like that. I love it. We have lower high, now lower low. I want to catch it. I want to add to it. So let me get hype pulled up. And also, same thing. I like what I see up there on the 4 hour. Got the RSI under the 50 here. So I definitely want to see 4 hour closes under this price. We just lost that. So might have to add down here. I have already added once. So when I nailed the high almost perfectly because I was watching that supply candle right there. So I got in here at 35.18. Then as it pushed down, I took profits and re-entered, and it dropped my cost basis to here. So I'm still above resistance. An entry up here would bring my cost basis down to about 34.08. So that's a little bit too close. And since it's flying today, since it's super volatile, I might get stopped out, but I'm willing to put it on again. Like I said, I've already made $350 on it this morning. So I got a nice little profit cushion to get positioned in this. We got 30 minutes still, or 28 minutes to the bell. So I'd love to add on a bounce after the bell. But I might not be able to get in. It's too low down here to add. Up here, it won't look bearish anymore. It'll look like a bullish bounce. But yeah, it is what it is. Let's see what we look like on the hourly. Yeah, I mean, technically speaking, it's a little bit low on the daily range to be taking a short. You get what I'm saying? And you've liquidated the last couple days here. At least two days of lows you've liquidated. So it looks like 4 hour supply is going to be right on the daily mid. Yeah, I would love to be able to add right there. That would be my favorite place to add on this. Here's something that is a little bit concerning, though, that what was heavy sell side volume has been retraced with bullish upside volume. Remember what I said, if Bitcoin does get a bullish bounce today, right? If it does have a rip your face off rally, hype will not roll over. It will probably go up and make a fresh day high. So we got to be careful with it. We don't want to take too many entries and give all that money back. But if Bitcoin's getting ready to roll over hard today, I want to be on this. I think this will roll over harder. I mean, it already has rolled over harder, right? Bitcoin is down 4.0%. This is down 7.8. So it's already experienced a much bigger move than Bitcoin has. It is more volatile than Bitcoin. The gains they'll be big. Especially if it has a puke kind of day. And everything is literally look like it's gearing up perfectly for that. Fresh weekly high on the VIX. You're currently breaking down under the yearly opening range on the S&P. Yeah, I mean things are looking good for a potential break. We could still be a little bit early on the S&P for it to roll over and get, bearish, but we'll see. Your low edge of your expected range is down here at 68.19. And like I said, Bitcoin bouncing pretty good off of that level. Shorts on Bitcoin will be put on as high as 71,895 in today's trading session. So even if you bounce all the way back up to there, I would say that's probably where, like if I thought Bitcoin was, if the VIX and stuff is breaking out strongly today, that's where I would look to put the short on Bitcoin. Nowhere lower. It would have to be up there. Because in my opinion, like, there's just not enough risk to reward jumping on a short here with support right there. Your day open on Bitcoin is right here. So you're already in extended daily range. Already an extended day. You've literally not seen really much of a pullback. Been pretty nasty out there, guys. Pretty nasty out there. I love volatility. I absolutely love it. I lap this stuff up, man. Love it. Give it to me. All of it. I'll take all of your volatility. Also, are you looking at any stocks right now for long-term holds? I like, here, let's go look at it real quick. Right now, probably not so much, especially because a lot of things are starting to roll over. You know what I mean? But I do like Netflix. I think Netflix has pulled back here quite a bit. It can go much lower. But historically speaking, if we look at all of Netflix's historical data, you can see that, well, you can't see because for whatever reason, that label is not there. Okay. So you can see historically speaking that once you get under 50 on the monthly RSI, it has been a pretty good place to be a buyer. Now, notwithstand the two bear markets you had, right? So if the broader risk markets are looking for a bear market, it might not be the place to add just yet. But it is getting into territory that I do like. The pullback looks like it's as big as this one. It isn't. It is not. You can see the difference now on log. This pullback was much bigger than what you've got going on here. So it does look brutal. It looks pretty nasty, but it could get way more nastier. You are liquidating these 2025 lows. So this is typically where I start looking to put risk on for longer term holds. It hasn't really given me that look that I like to see. I like weekly divergences. I think those are pretty good areas to be buying. You haven't really accumulated much you've just been basically trending. The trend hasn't been super aggressive to the downside yet, but I mean, it is super aggressive as you've got how many weeks in a row? 10 weeks in a row of downside. So that's aggressive. I just mean in terms of like percentage moves. This was an inside week. This week was a breakdown but closed back up. This was just barely outside. They're small ranges, right? Maybe you could call that a small accumulation zone. I want to see it like kind of reject some lows, put in some divergence, then I can start to add. And then if it breaks down again later on in the year, add to it again as close to lows as possible. So yeah, Netflix is one that I am keeping a very close eye on. It is getting close. Meta, not so much. Intel, okay. So let me pull up this new watch list we just built, thanks to Ed posting it in a Discord. Where is it at? It's going to be down here. Here it is. I'm naming it the White House watch list. So if you want, you can push pause. You can get all these tickers. Here, let me do it this way. That way you can see all of the tickers, and then you can just push pause and build the watch list yourself. This is basically the stocks that people might want to buy while Trump is running the White House. Open link. No, that is not what I wanted you to do. Well, here, let me just do it this way. That since I'm getting some weird ass. Boom. So you can push pause if you want on the live stream. This is all the companies that you might want to put on a watch list, and basically you've got a few sectors here. You've got rare earths, you've got defense, you've got AI infrastructure. Like, yeah, White House. Maybe you could keep an eye on all these. A lot of these are literally up on highs right now, so clearly I'm not a proponent of buying all-time highs. But I mean, some of them are extremely overblown even, but some of them are pulling back. So you could potentially look for small size in some of those things. But as far as on tech, like I definitely love, I'm getting to the point to where I like Netflix. I like the metals company, TMC. But it's also a little bit extended. We are getting the pullback now, so that's good. If I can get back in it closer to like 450 again, I would. I like it. I'm only going to buy as many shares as I'm willing to lose, though. It's not a trade. It's not a scalp. It's for a long-term hold. I don't know how long-term yet. We'll just see as time goes on. But this company is positioned perfectly to scoop up all those ocean rocks. So yeah, I like this one too, but I think it's a little expensive up here. Might not be, but I think it is a little bit. I'd like to see it a little lower. But you can see for the last 3 months, it's been having difficulties getting much lower. And I can't predict what price will do ever, so yeah. Waiting can get you into trouble. I already own shares of this at $3. So the reason I'm waiting for 450 if I can is because I don't want to bring my cost basis up much. I don't own a lot of shares. I own a few, right? Because if they do good and the stock blows up 5-6 years down the road, then I'll take my money and run. And then there are a lot on that White House list that I do like. All right, back to hype. We're looking for a wick up into here for potential ads and here. These are the two places that I want to look for that ad. Good morning, XRP. Next resistance. Probably February is open. If it's been getting beat up like all the other cryptos has, yeah, it's beat up. Resistance, this thing is massively oversold. You're probably going to have to go back a long ways to find out the last time XRP sold off that much. Yeah, literally. All the way back to 2023. You haven't seen this oversold on a daily time frame on this asset in a very long time. I wouldn't be looking for shorts on something like this. Yeah, I mean, it's getting closer and closer to being a buy opportunity, not a sell, but you specifically want resistance. Here you go. First major level of resistance that I would be looking for rejection would be there. Secondary level of resistance right there. So if it trades up into either one of those two levels and then rejects, I could then be a seller again. That's actually probably going to put you way above the daily 21. Well, right in the middle. So yeah, this big block right here, this is where I'd be interested in potentially taking another short, but not until then. This is way too oversold to be a seller for me. It just doesn't fit my strategies. Hopefully that helps. Bernard Baruch said it's best. Only a liar buys the bottom and sells the top. I 100% agree with you. However, with that being said, we have done pretty good ourselves on this channel, catching some highs and lows before. It's just straight luck when it happens, but occasionally it does happen. Brandon did a pretty good, he's been pretty damn close to being short since the highs. So Brandon is literally, and a lot of Trade Talk members have literally, I didn't get super bearish on Bitcoin because I didn't anticipate there was enough negativity out there to cause the 4-year cycle to make it be this bad, right? But I didn't know about BIP 110. I didn't find out about BIP 110 until Bitcoin was literally trading in this area, right in here. This is when I first learned about the soft fork. If I would have known about the soft fork up here, we would have been really bearish. We would have been really bearish. So, yeah. Because a soft fork is big news. It's uncertainty. And anything that brings uncertainty to any market is negative. Not positive. But yeah, so, I mean, we didn't miss the top. We shorted Pingu on this day right here. And we shorted the weekly open. So we literally shorted Pingu when Bitcoin was trading at 122.514. Pingu dropped 80% that day. So if you think about it, I literally caught the entire move as well. Not all 80%. I got out like right at about when it was down 72%. Bitcoin ain't down 72% yet. So in a sense, I've caught more of this downside move than what Brandon has caught being short Bitcoin on one single trade. Now, obviously, it wasn't a full-size position and all that, right? I should have been a little bit more bearish, but a little bit before. This day right here should have really, I thought it was going to reclaim right here. So once it broke down here, that Friday, that swing highs, that was the first time that I literally put out a public, you need to short Bitcoin at this price, right? Or at least that's what I'm doing. And that trade was absolutely chef's kiss beautiful. It worked out as perfectly as it could have. It was literally a Sunday entry. Beautiful. Caught pretty much all of it from here at the high too. We shorted at the high. The exact price that I told everybody to short was 111.066. So if you've been short since there, you're in good shape down here. You're in good shape. Nvidia still not doing anything. We're getting closer to the bell though. I'm not going to be able to add to this, but I don't have a position on Tesla. So if we get a similar move up to pre-market highs and a rejection, I might be willing to short it, but it has to be a rejection and it has to be right there. Any harder upside push, I would most likely not be interested in that. Unless it tags January's low to perfection and rejects, then I could get it there, but that would be a big ass bounce. Right? You're looking at a 5% move to the upside, and that could happen in the span of all day. I don't think that's happening on the bell. But we'll see. We'll see. And I think I'm not going to be able to add on gold. It just isn't giving me that trade that I want. It might. Because gold does like to play both sides of the range. Simply what I mean by that is it does like to liquidate and then go back up and liquidate highs a lot. It did that the other day a couple times. You were liquidating highs, then you were liquidating lows, then you went back up. But I believe this right here. 5K is a huge level for gold to reclaim. If it reclaims 5K, I wouldn't be bearish. But as long as it's below 5K, I can look for short trades in the direction back to 45.50, right? So if it's rejecting this price, I could look for trades down into here. But that is going to be the next level of potential support. That's where it bounced. The gold, even though it had a nasty move, it's still just trading inside last month's range. This is not a bearish candle. It's bearish now, but it don't look that bearish. But all this wick is from that bounce. Silver looks a lot worse. On the weekly, it looks pretty bad, right? On the weekly, you took out 1, 2, 3 weekly highs. That's pretty bad. And then silver was way worse. Silver was way worse. Silver took out 1, 2, well, no, same thing. You have now taken out multiple weeks worth of lows, but on that blow off move, you did not get that one. So you only took out 2 weeks, but those were like 2 of the biggest bullish candles silver ever experienced. Those were massive bullish candles. And 2 back to back. So that was a huge move on silver. That's why we're pretty much thinking that this thing's going to be choppy and sideways for a while. Sideways to down, right? Sideways to down. Because a lot of people are going to be selling $90. $90, same thing. Big figure number. As of right now, it's this week's high or close enough to it. So yeah, $90. Any pullbacks or any closures above $90, you're probably going to see it run up to 98. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think it looks like it's done. It looks like they absolutely were sellers as it was pushing up. This is exhaustion. It's a lower high and it's exhaustion. It's like pretty easy to trade that. No, you meant next buy zone for XRP. Okay, so that's where you get into some tricky stuff, right? Because trends can continue much further than we think they can. Always. Keep that in mind first and foremost. Just understand that, this thing is getting nuked right now. It could go much lower, but it's getting close. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to pull up the RSI. Anytime you get a weekly oversold reading on the RSI, if it's a good asset that has a good chart, right? When I say good chart, I simply mean something trending from bottom left to top right. generally speaking, investors like to buy weekly oversold charts, but the chart has to be a good, strong, fundamental value play. I don't know that XRP is that, right? I don't think XRP is the next big thing or anything like that. I know that XRP does have a use case, but how much of that is still priced in? I don't know. But yeah, most cryptos trade with Bitcoin, so whatever Bitcoin does, they kind of do as well. So whenever Bitcoin bottoms out, I'd say your Litecoins and your ETHs and your XRPs and things will also bounce. I think we're getting close, but only time will tell. I love weekly bullish divergent signals. And then if I can get a trap mixed in all that as well, I love those. Love them. It was an absolutely beautiful buy the last time Bitcoin was in a bear market. It was a perfect signal. It's literally right here. I still have it marked on the chart for you. Probably not on this one. It'll be on this one right here. You see this? Look at this divergence. Now, will you get something exactly the same? No, right? No. But once you get the diverging signal, so you didn't even really get the diverging signal until this candle broke down and closed under that weekly close right there. Well, technically, I'm lying. So this would have been the level to beat, right? To get the divergence. Now, you didn't make fresh lows until this candle, but this is a lower close. So since it's a lower close, the RSI was a higher close. That's your divergent signal. The older style technical analysis, most people want to see a lower low, but this indicator prints on the close, not the lows. If you're looking at the RSI and you want lower lows, then set it to low, not close. But most stock RSIs come with a 14-day trailing average and on the close. So just a lower close is all you need to get divergence. But it was a beautiful signal, and it was a trap. Big, strong breakdown below, smoked the low. That was the bearish divergent signal. I literally posted about it on Twitter the day it happened. Literally was like, yep, we've got our bearish divergence here. Time to buy. Now, did I know that the long was going to work? Obviously, the answer to that is no. But these are beautiful long-term macro signals that a lot of people look for. So maybe look for something like that on XRP. XRP USDT perpetual short bias. Oh, he's putting in trades again. Hello, Heath. Can you explain exactly what is your strategy? I want to try to code it. Can you help me? Yeah, other people have coded it. It's just using objective price action. Like, that's as simple as it is. So, like, think of it in a way in terms of being a writer. If you were writing an article as to what is Bitcoin doing, objectively speaking. So, like, in a downtrend right now, you would have a bearish bias. You would be looking for shorts at prior swings, prior highs, prior closes, things like that. The larger time frames are the better levels. Always. It's a very easy strategy to code. But like, can I explain it here in 2 minutes? No. Most likely I cannot. Because there's other things too that go in there. We do use some moving averages to help give us momentum and things like that. We look for like average true range, and there's a lot of things that we implement into the strategy to help give us more of an edge, but it's a fairly simple strategy. Very simple. We trade with the trend. It's a trend following system. But we use the objective trend. We don't use moving averages to confirm trend. A lot of strategies will do that. We don't do that. It needs to be objectively up on the year. It needs to be objectively up on the month, yada, 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 right? It needs to be moving up and have been moving up. That is how you identify trend, not with a moving average. Moving average shows you momentum, right? That's it. That's what a moving average does. It shows you how much momentum you have in the direction of the trend. The farther away from the moving average you get, the more extended the asset is becoming, the more momentum it has. It's not a trend identifying tool. It can be, obviously. You can see this moving average is moving up. So, all right, I'm going back over to hype because I think this is where the opportunity is. Remember, USD JPY, we're looking for a pullback up into 4-hour supply. That is happening as we speak right now. So I do not want to see candles closing above that. Like when I say candles, 30-minute, 15-minute, if you're closing above that level, you could be looking to move higher. So I just want to see a wick into it and a wick out of it. On a very perfect day, it would look like this, right? And then that would be the entry on a perfect day. And then hopefully on an even more perfect day, it would look like this. But yeah, perfect days don't often happen, especially when momentum or volatility is expanding, which it is. Here we go. Boom. You are trending on volatility. S&P 500 breaking down here. Shit, that's Bitcoin. That's the wrong chart. Trending on the lows here. Once you break down below this, you're trending. You're no longer range bound. You are literally at the bottom edge of the expected move on the expected range. This is the cash market, the SPX. So there is a big gap there, right? Because you closed up here yesterday, you gapped down. So just because it's bleeding right now, it does not mean that will continue all day. So that probably means we didn't get a very big move up on Tesla. We did not. So basically now the only thing that we could do on something like Tesla is look for wicks up into the open and short it. So I'm going to pull up Tesla and try to do that. Into the open or at the high of day. This is your current high of day. If it's trending far above that, then we won't take the entry. Oh yeah, up here it looks like dog doo-doo. That's going to be almost impossible for me to short right here. Almost impossible. In fact, to be honest with you, I wouldn't like a short on Tesla until about 403.29. It is massively oversold here. So I'm not going to be shorting Tesla. Here's what the Nvidia trade looks like. I'm not going to be adding to it because I'm already in full size position. So as you can see, didn't get the best entry as I had to go in using a market order. There's not much liquidity trading on these things yet. There's only been 29,000 contracts traded in a 24-hour period. We need retail to start flocking to this thing so that way we can get more liquidity. When we have big liquidity, we'll be able to trade it with as much as we want. But yeah, we'll see what they do. Going back over to hype real quick because it is moving up. So yeah, I definitely want to see it wick up into this, and I will be adding to it. Bitcoin is going up still. So Bitcoin is still moving up. It doesn't look like it, but this is what you got. It is a very small move. Let me turn off that 200 weekly indicator. It's not a small move. I mean, it's a $1,200 move off the lows, but I mean, people will be selling into this. I wouldn't be, but other people are. I'm making almost $180 on the Bitcoin long on $200. Like, oh, I know why. It's 50x leverage. Never mind. I just noticed that. We were goofing around a little bit yesterday. I forgot about that. So actually, I have like a half-size position on here. So it is larger than I thought it was because of that leverage. But yeah, I mean, it's starting to make some money here. I don't expect that trend to continue or anything. It is what it is, right? But we are looking to add on this for sure. This is not oversold. This has plenty of room to the downside. My only concern with it is it's so bullish. Are they buying it? If Bitcoin bounces all day long today, like a bullish rip your face off rally, this thing will go up. But I am going to add if it tags this level, for sure. Already made $350 on it, so I have some room to play here. If it starts to look like it's struggling to even get up there, I might go in with it. So basically, that bottom white line right there, this one, if I can just wick above it and drop, I could add. Keeping an eye on volatility because I want volatility pushing up. These are buying areas. This is a buying area on the S&P. Any pullbacks into the low edge of the expected range, people do usually buy that in a bull market. You can see how they bought it perfectly here on that day. Same scenario, you gap down, push down into it, and the next day gapped up. Boom, boom, boom. That could absolutely happen tomorrow. You could be filling this gap tomorrow. You could be filling this gap today. So, like I said, a lot of things are oversold. It's kind of hard to get short an asset that is already so massively oversold. Now, at least with this, you're not massively oversold. You hit oversold here. You hit oversold here, bounced, hit it again, bounced. So each time you bounce, you're resetting this indicator. It's a complete reset. So literally, this is like, yeah, this could still fall. It's not massively oversold, but crypto is. Some of it, not this one. Yeah, and I'd like to see some confirmation of downside volume as well. Let me go ahead and get my order ready. So I got 157 in it now. I want to add 350 to it. Not that much. A lot of volatility. Let's add 250 to it. That'd be a $400 position size. We got 20x leverage on it, so that's perfect. That's what we're looking for. All right, perfect. So situated the order. It's ready to go. All I got to do is hit send. Gold also not rolling over. So gold might want to bounce back up into here. No, that's silver. I was getting ready to say, that looks all wrong. There we go. Yeah, remember, this is potential support. So the highest I want to get it is 49.43. If it fails to get up there, I could potentially add here. 48.98. But I wouldn't love that trade. But I love this. That looks good. Let's see what we got on the RSI. That looks good. So yeah. Ooh, I didn't want to do that. Yeah. 49.47. Any rejection there, I would be adding to the short. Or okay to add to the short. I'm going to go ahead and set a limit out on gold so that way I can watch hype. Or I guess I can pull this up over here. USD JPY is still doing that. Yeah, hype isn't moving up yet. I got hype on the big screen up top, so I'll keep gold. You guys tell me what you would rather look at. Gold, Bitcoin, hype. What do you want to look at? Welcome to Retail Number One Dreamer. I appreciate you. Thank you very much for that. Greetings, everyone. Says Tank, what's up? I just created the White House list, and it's all red. What a day today is. Yeah, a lot of red out there. Please, can you look at the metric that shows when Bitcoin is undervalued? It was very helpful to me last year, bear market. Are you talking about the MVRV Z-score? I'm not sure which metric. RSI is a very good metric for when something is undervalued, especially when the chart trends up. So RSI is good, but I'll pull up the MVRV Z-score for you real quick. You can look at it for free here on bitcoinmagazinepro.com. It's a free indicator. Just type in MVRV. What happened to it? Where'd it go? There it is. Yeah, so basically it's got some room to go, right? The green area is typically when you want to be a buyer. Lower to the bottom of the green zone has typically, historically, been a decent place to be a buyer on Bitcoin. You still got a lot of room to go here. But like a lot of indicators, especially on chain, some of these things are changing structure around a lot. And this is one of them. This never did get massively overbought. The last time it did that was 2021. So this is why a lot of people were bearish this cycle, because of things like this. They were calling it like weakness, but I don't think that's what's going on. We'll see though. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Yeah, you got some room to go. The 200 simple moving average is a good way. Like if you're 10% or 15% lower than the 200, that's an undervalued metric as well. There's a bunch of them. They all say the same thing, right? They all say the same thing. Yeah, let me pull up MSTR real quick. So people are shorting MSTR. They're treating it like a futures product on Bitcoin right now, and that's another reason why people are concerned. MSTR has been oversold for a long time, and now you've got a lower print. So we were building in weekly divergence here, or bullish weekly divergence, and then it fell. So yeah, that's never good, but it's going to bounce at some point. It could keep going lower. This indicator can just stay sideways forever, right? So we do want to see some lows get defended. So if we pull this up over here, you can see you got some lows right here. You've got a monthly low right there. Let's see if we can line that up with a quarterly swing low. So maybe in this area, if MicroStrategy could get down in there and then stop going lower. Looking at the RSI on MicroStrategy's data, it looks like anything under 45 has been historically a good place to be a buyer on the quarterly RSI. So it's getting close, but as long as it's printing fresh lower lows, you got to be very careful about buying it, simply because you're trying to buy a falling knife, right? You're trying to catch something that is falling. You don't want to do that. You want to let the low be built, let it be defended. Then you at least can say, well, at least it hasn't made fresh lows. And that's about all you can do as an investor, to be honest with you. All right, so USDJPY pushing up into 4-hour supply. This is where we want to see it reject. We do not want to see it pushing much deeper than that. We can go look at it on FXCM real quick and see if the volume is lined up for the sell. Because Forex.com does not give volume data. It's proprietary. So it isn't really, it's a mixed day. It's a very mixed day. You can see you're definitely above the neutral zone, which does kind of suggest that it's kind of a mix, right? It's not a one-sided market for sure. And I really do not love that the POC or the point of control is here either. I will love it if it rejects. If it rejects the level that we specifically want it to reject. $156.98. If it's trading under that price, I'm more than okay with holding a short. All right, so it doesn't look like hype is going to give me that, and I don't want to chase it that much lower. So what I'm going to do here, because I am severely underpositioned, or at least undersized on this, if it does have a nasty drop, I want to have more than this on it. So I'm going to probably have to chase this a little bit, but I won't be able to put a full-size position on. So instead of having like a $400 position, I'm probably going to just go up to like $275. So that way my cost basis comes down a little bit lower, but not too low. Because I want to be able to defend the position if Bitcoin keeps bouncing. So here's Bitcoin. If it's staying above $100 on the P&L, then I know Bitcoin is still up off those lows, right? And that could threaten this. So I don't want to bring my entry too far down. But yeah, it looks like if I don't do something soon, I'm going to miss this thing. We're only 15 minutes into the bell, so I'm going to give it a few more minutes. Just a couple, and see what happens. Yeah, like Steven says, what I like about this trade strategy as it applies to any ticker, it does, because I'm not trading the ticker, I'm trading the chart. I'm trading price. I'm allowing price to give me an objective bias. Then I'm looking for high time frame levels to apply risk at. So if it's objectively trending lower, right, then I'm looking to fade a bounce. So if I get a fresh week high or something, I can look to fade that in the direction of the trend. Right now, trying to take a short on hype, I'm literally counter trend. So I have to be very careful because the asset is trending up. It isn't on the year. Well, I mean, this year. I keep forgetting we're in a brand new year. You are up on the year. You are in a 2-week trend or 2-month trend, but that 2-month trend is literally only 2 weeks. Last week was still January. This week is February. So it's up, right? You're up. You're above the daily 21. So the very near term trend is up. So I'm taking a counter trend trade here. But this looks like exhaustion. It set a bull trap. It smoked the low. But this is a sell signal. They don't always work though, especially when it's counter trend. Because when an asset is bullish, the bulls have the order flow. They're in charge of the order flow. So any lower low can get bought up eventually in an uptrending asset. So I definitely love shorting weak assets better, but I think this has some more to give, right? If it breaks down, I want to be short. As long as it's trading under the weekly 21, I can look at that as a rejection, right? Here's the weekly, here's the 21. So this, it rejected last week. You made a fresh high and you're rejecting it again. So we can call it a rejection. We just don't know if it's going to close like that. But it is looking like it wants to head that way, and I'm going to miss it. If it's a big breakdown, I'll still make money. I'm going to have to chase it a little bit. All right, let's just go ahead and chase it. So here's what it looks like on the platform. Got my order out there to get filled. If I get filled, it'll bring my cost basis down to about 34.08. A little bit lower than I want it to be, but I'm more than okay with it there if it breaks down. I've already made money on it, so I got not much to lose here. I don't have, actually, I'm not going to lose anything. I'm playing with the house's money, and I always like that. Because when I have the house's money on, I don't even have to worry about the trade. It's just straight icing on the cake. All right, now we're going to get a little pop here. Hopefully it gets up to fill us. Still not confirming that heavy sell side volumes. I don't like that. I do like where POC is on this for a downside move. Yes, I love where POC is. If it can start confirming big heavy sell side, start trending back lower again, I would love that. I would feel better about it. But you can clearly see this is the value area of the current structure, so you are undervalued here. Please do not run away. Fill me. We'll see what it does. Truth Markets. What's up, Brandon? Asset. Yeah. Asset. What is the entry trigger exactly? I mean, when exactly you enter, it depends on the trade, the setup. So the trigger for me is this level. Like, so I can't ever predict what price is going to do. So I apply an if this then that statement to the asset, right? So this is a lower high than yesterday's high. That's correct. That's objective. So I do know that up until now, this asset did get a weak spell. So if it's going to continue to do that today, then in theory, it shouldn't start making higher time frame, higher highs. All right. So it shouldn't, right? So best case scenario, it gets back up into here where both or last 3 days points of control have been. And also 4-hour supply candle there. So that white line is my line in the sand. So if price can continue to trade under 33.47, then I can hold a short. You see how it's an if then or if then that statement? So I can never predict price, no matter what indicators I look at. Nothing will ever be a confirmation of what price is going to do. Price is too chaotic. It's too volatile on the intraday. It's chaotic. Impossible to predict even 1 second out in time. So as long as price stays under that price, then I will hold a short with a stop set just above my entry. That is the trigger. That is the entry. If price trades above that, then I want to get out of the position and allow price to go up as high as it wants to go. I'm no longer looking for the short. Price needs to stay under this level for me to want to hold a short. So if it's trading above this in this area, then I am not putting on the short. That's it. That's the trigger. That's it. That's everything. That's your entry trigger, all. And I generally, so on my day trade scalps, right, on the public channel, like on the live streams and stuff, I'm only risking $100 per trade. However, I break that entry up into 3 parts. So I'm looking to risk about $30 per entry, but my risk and position size stays the same. I just have to get out quicker. So that way, if I get the move in my direction, it doesn't need to go too far before I can then extract $300 worth of profits. So in a sense, I'm risking $100 per day to make $300 per day. Now, you can size that up. I only pick those numbers because it's what I'm comfortable risking on a daily basis. I don't want to lose $700 in 1 week, right? And in theory, if I lost every single day, that's what I would lose. But because I get 3 tries at it, and I'm usually pretty good at predicting or at least identifying directional bias, I usually don't miss that often. I might miss one day, but the next day I might win on 2 trades or 3 even. So, and then as long as I keep doing that over time, I make money. Yeah, I mean, it is simple. I'm not trying to predict what chaotic price is going to do. I'm only analyzing the objective analysis, like what it is doing, and then putting positions on to profit if that continues. It's when we don't get the continuation, that's when we're going to get stopped out, right? We're going to lose money. And for me, it's just the cost of doing business. If I'm wrong that day, which I am often, like I said, I tried to short this yesterday. We were down here yesterday. So obviously, I can show you real quick while we're just kind of waiting on these things to do things. Bitcoin is rolling back over. Bitcoin is heading back to the lows. But anyways, this is where we were yesterday when the New York session started, right? So this was the prior day, and up to that point, this was the day high. So basically, I told my community, if it goes up to here and then rejects, we can take a short trade in anticipation that we get an extension lower, and we take this low out so we can short here and target here. That trade did not work. I got stopped out. I allowed it to trade up into that area the first time. I'll mark this with a green line so you can track it. The first time it traded up into it, we put the entry on. Where are we at? Let's go ahead and move it along quickly. So right here, I went one too far, but so when it traded up into it, we put the risk on. Stop above that high. We were risking $30. So we sat in the trade for an hour, then we were stopped. We actually weren't stopped out because I closed it. I didn't like it. It wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. So usually when I'm right, especially on a day trade, usually you'll get filled, and then an hour and a half later, you're taking profits. So if I get in a trade and then 2 hours goes by and it's still just right near my entry, you might as well bail because it isn't working. If you're on the right side of order flow, it's going to break down, or if you're buying, it's going to go up, right? Quickly. Because New York session is when you get the last huge volumes. So 9:30 happens, all the volumes come rushing into the market, then you get the expansion. So we watched it for a little bit. We got this move. This was an emotion move right here, just triggering that short side bias back in, getting people to fill, and literally it ended up stopping them out again. See, this is the stuff that we will never be able to predict. This stuff. So Yeah, not every trade is going to work. But as long as you're good at mitigating risk, it doesn't matter. You don't need every trade to work. You only need to, when you're right, you need to make more money than when you're wrong, what you lose. So you need to make more than you lose. And if you do that consistently, you will be a profitable trader. Simple math. Simple math. So if I'm right, within the next hour, this thing should start heading lower. Simple as that. If it goes sideways or worse, starts to head higher, then I'm wrong. Most likely. I like what I see on the indicators. Most of them, we're trading back under the weekly and monthly VWAPs. We are making lower lows on the dailies. This is a lower low. This is a lower low. So things are looking good for a downside move. Now we just have to let time take over and do its thing. And if we're right, we'll make money again. If we're wrong, we'll get stopped out. Looking at higher time frames, I think, would help a lot of you guys, to be honest with you. A lot of people like to look at the 1 minute and the 5 minute charts, and I have no problem with it. I can look at 1 minute and 5 minute charts with the best of them. I could watch a 5-second chart. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter to me. I already know what I'm looking for, the levels that I'm looking for, so it really doesn't matter. But for newer traders that haven't quite got it yet, I think you would do so much better on the higher time frame, because on a higher time frame chart, you can see what the market is doing. See, here, it looks like it is going, well, this is a bad example because it is going down. But smaller time frame charts are harder to gauge directional bias. It just is. Like in this garbage right here, you're not going either way. You're up and down, up and down. Order flow is bearish this week. It wasn't on Monday and Tuesday. Right? It wasn't bearish yesterday either. Yesterday was an up day. Yesterday it opened down here, closed up here. So yesterday was an up day on hype. But it was a lower high. Yeah, Bitcoin's breaking down. So I'm in the red on that long entry, but it just liquidated the prior low. So this is where people are going to get in trouble, because if you were waiting for this liquidation to take place, now you might fire off that long entry, but it's not doing what you want it to do. It's literally doing the opposite. It came back down. If it was going to be a big upside move, we would want to see big upside candles. Instead, we got the open, which was here, one upside candle, a sideways candle, and then every candle since has been lower highs, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. The market's literally heading back to the downside. So it is currently trend resumption. You got to be very careful trying to buy this, because you could get a candle that drops all the way down to here. And that's $1,000 move. With leverage on, that's a 2% move. That would destroy your account if you accidentally ate that. So this is kind of what we want to see for our hype trade to work out. We want to see Bitcoin heading lower. We want to see risk off today. See, there's that USDJPY rejection. It didn't get there. I didn't get it. It wasn't a perfect entry, but at least you got a good reaction. See, if you're looking at higher time frame charts, you could set entries up in here, right? or up here. If it's not getting up there, you can see what time it is. If you're right here and there's literally 10 seconds left to the close, you might not get up there. Like, you know what I mean? It's a good reaction, a strong downside reaction, but it's still inside, right? It's just barely, it's the same size candle. So if it spends all hour trading in this current range, it might spike up. We want to see this thing pushing down below this low. We need to see this trend continue. That's a higher high, but it was just a very tiny spike above. Then it continued, pushed down, closed under this low. This candle opened, pushed down, closed under. So this is an inside candle. So we wouldn't want to see it pushing up above that now. We want to see it staying below here and heading lower. And then what's gold doing? Gold is still doing nothing here. So this is going to be worrisome for shorts, and I'm going to tell you why right now. Because you're trending on volume. So this is a delta. The name of this indicator is called the cumulative volume delta. CVD, right? Cumulative volume deltas. So whenever the sellers are more aggressive, this indicator will trend down. It's telling you that people are hitting market sell faster than limit buy orders are being filled. So if the indicator is trending like this to the downside, that means you have aggressive sellers in this. If price refuses to go lower, if it's literally refusing to go lower, then that's called an iceberg order. That literally means somebody is hiding their order. They're hiding it. They're saying they're only buying 100 when they're really buying 10,000 or something, right? I don't know exactly how much. I'm just using an example. But that means there could be someone down here soaking up all those market sells. So if price refuses to go lower, you could be getting ready to see a reversal. This, here, let's go down on a smaller time frame. You can see it actually taking place. You see how you traded down into February's open here at 7 a.m. And then 1, 2, 3 hours later, you're still trading here. But this is clearly going down, 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 down. So literally, if you're short on gold right now here at like 48.70, you are being threatened and you don't even know it. But your position is potentially going to get stopped out. If it breaks down at any point in the next 22 minutes, then you can breathe a little bit of sigh of relief, as it probably will start to head lower. But if it refuses to put in a lower low for the next 20 minutes, you might want to be careful, because this thing could spike. Somebody is buying it, and they're being sneaky about it. If I was looking for longs in gold, right here's where I'd be looking for them, because it's the February open. It's an objective level. You also have the monthly volume weighted average price here. This is also a support level. So it does look like people are trying to buy gold here. So I don't want to add to my short unless it's up here or up here. So if it gets up into here and rejects, then I can think about it. It won't look like a short if it takes this high out and gets all the way back up here. But it could still be a short simply because all three of these candles, 1, 2, 3, all three of them are trading inside of this one candle right here. So this candle right here is dominating the daily range and the daily range expansion. You can see why I said if it gets up to here and fails, I can put the short on. If it trades above that and then this high also, you have a reversal on the daily range. And it isn't a short. So gold's playing games here. Gold does play games. Gold is difficult to trade, especially when volatile. But I love it when it's volatile because it's moving enough to actually do good on range expansions. So yeah, I'm no longer in the Bitcoin long, and you are continuing lower here. So that's, you know, kind of a good look. Hopefully hype starts to follow suit soon. It was already pretty much down pretty good, so maybe that was about all the expansion you're gonna get. It's already pretty much down significantly. XRP's or XMR's down 12. Zcash down 11. Look at Fartcoin 11, Bonk 7, Pingu 9. Never mind. Earlier, Fartcoin was struggling to break down. It isn't now. Okay, there it goes. Yeah, this thing, holy goodness, man. Look at all this delta. There's literally no upside anywhere in any of these candles. This thing can put in another move like this if this stuff continues. Risk markets are trending lower. You're freaking bouncing. I mean, you're up on the VIX. Look at this. It is moving in the right direction for shorts. Risk markets down. Breaking down here. Let's go look at Nvidia, Tesla real quick. Starting to trend lower. Damn it. Nvidia did give us that wick up like I wanted to see Tesla do. It did go up a little bit, but not high enough. Nvidia was high enough. Yeah, that would have absolutely been okay with me. See, this was the dominating candle. There's your expansion, right? 1 hour expansion. That's an inside candle. This is also an inside candle. However, the wick went up too close to the open. That was the trade entry. If it's going to go lower, then it should fail to make higher highs. If it does make higher highs, you could be wrong on direction. But this is a good look. Not only did you reject there, you have now taken out that low. So you are currently trending. Currently trending. That's what we need to see as directional bias traders. So this is also why S&P is getting killed. This is the biggest company in the S&P. Yeah, things are looking a little bit rough out there. USD/JPY still not trending down here. Kind of worrisome. Still got a lot of time on this candle, but I don't like that the candle opened and went down first. I don't like that. I would rather it open, go up first, reject here, and then slowly start to fade and then let loose. When it takes on a big move like that right off the bat, sometimes it's a fake move. We'll see though. It was a kind of aggressive drop. So yeah, it happened literally at 10 o'clock. There must have been news that came out here. Forex is heavily manipulated by news. Very much so. Let's go see what the news was. It's a JOLTS number. Came out at 10 o'clock. So that's what caused that drop right there. But the fact that it did not make a lower low, worrisome. This is the yearly opening level. This is the yearly opening range. So as long as you're trading above this, you're bullish on the year. Below it, you're negative on the year. So Big levels make people do things. That's why these levels are effective. That's why they're so important to look at. It literally forces people to trade. Your longs are going to be looking for longs here. Your sellers are going to want to see price reject here. So it just, because of what it is, the objective yearly open, the level itself forces liquidity. It makes emotions happen and therefore fresh orders. That's why we track them. So for downside continuation, it is imperative that price rejects here. Imperative. It needs to happen. If you're trading above this, your yearly trend is higher, up. It's going up. Not good for shorts. Very small range here. Very tight. But here's confirmation, at least in volume. That's good. At least we know that the sellers are no longer being dominated by these buyers. Price is going in that direction. So it's kind of a good look, because it was a small move. Wouldn't take much for it to get back up here. I don't want to be in a short either if it's just going to chop sideways. There's plenty enough things happening, like market wide, for this to roll over. There literally is. Your S&P's melting, Nvidia's melting, Bitcoin is melting, has melted, still melting. There's no reason for this thing to be trending back up, right? Literally, it should be puking right now. Because it isn't, we got to be concerned. Crypto can be easily manipulated. There's all the things that are illegal to do in the US markets are fine and dandy to do in the crypto markets. If you own the majority of the supply, you can pretty much make price do whatever you want. The asset is still bullish here. You're still trading above the daily 21 exponential moving average. So people are looking at this as a correction and trying to buy it. But yeah, I mean, I like it. I like the way it looks. Looks like it can go lower. You catching this POC right here. And it's really close to this day's midpoint, right? Notice where that wick traded down to over there on the right. Oh, here comes Pepe. What's up, Pepe? Notice where that wick traded to. What's up, baby? You're right in the microphone, so keep it down, will you? Yeah, these POCs will sometimes act like support. So obviously, because I have a short side bias here, I want to see price break down below 31.21 and continue lower. As long as you're bouncing off of this level, it might rally. It might rally. The trend is up. So look at this. Bitcoin is spiking up now. So yeah, if Bitcoin spikes, it's going to spike. We've been trying to short this thing for a couple days. I made a lot of money on it over the weekend, but because I was taking profits, I knew I was counter trends. Whenever I'm counter trend, I take profits quickly. And I've also taken profits on today, right? I'm counter trend. Anytime I'm counter trend, if I get to move in my direction, I'm ripping profits out of the market, because I know from experience, counter trend trades rarely work out. They do not work out as often as a trending trade will. So we made a stop here. We did yesterday. It's literally refusing to die, this asset. That tells me that there's still legit demand for this product. If it can't break down and trend lower, there are big buyers buying it. I can't imagine any retail investor right now is buying any crypto. So this would have to be being bought up by big money. Almost every retail trader is as bearish as you can be right now. All right. Not there yet on BTC. It looks like a red candle for that short. Trade is on Bitcoin now. We wait. Yep. Wow. BTC 68K. Yeah, Bitcoin's getting destroyed. I don't like it. Everything is dumping. Yes, it is. Hey, Heath, long time, man. I don't do shorts, options, or leverage. Is now a good time to begin building a long position into anything as a swing or investment play, or else even a short-term bounce? Well, that's the thing, buddy. I wish I could tell you, right? That's the one thing that every investor wants the answer to. When, bounce. All right. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows when or if that will happen. So basically, what I would do, what I am going to do, and am starting to do, is buying little bits and pieces, not big positions, because even if you're not using leverage, if Bitcoin drops 10%, you've just lost 10% of your investment. So I'm going in with small pieces over time, slowly. As an experienced investor, I realize that things don't just go up and they don't just go down all the time. In fact, markets rarely trend. Most of the time, they're chopping in sideways ranges. So you could wait for some sideways price action and then start to slowly start participating in the market. That's what I'm going to do. Do not participate with longs in an investment when volatility is expanding. Volatility is currently expanding in a big way this week. You're literally up on fresh weekly highs. So you never want to try to buy when this is happening. You want this to pull back. You want volatility to shrink. Once volatility starts to shrink, then we can start accumulating. Because then you won't see these big ass death candles, right? These big ass death candles like this is happening because this is happening. Volatility is expanding still. So price can keep dropping and dropping and dropping. You got so many people trying to catch the lows on Bitcoin every day. The reason it's still going down is because those people are providing the liquidity for it to go lower. If people stopped buying Bitcoin right now, today, Bitcoin would bounce. Once that last seller gets stopped out, once supply is exhausted, it will go up. It will go up to find supply. Price is looking for supply and demand. So once that last person is done, that last stop is filled, it will bounce. And it will probably bounce aggressively to look for supply. So don't try to be a buyer then when all of this is happening. It's the worst time to buy. Now, bear markets are good to buy when they're winding down. When they're winding down, not when they're building up. This is building up right now. So you just have to understand that concept. This thing could be down 15 or 20% today. I don't anticipate that, but when volatility is this high, people are this pimped up. People are getting destroyed right now. So we want all of that to settle down. We want it to start trading in a range. Then we can slowly start accumulating little bits and pieces. And we don't need to catch the low. I mean, Bitcoin right now is cheaper than it's been since 2024. You're trading under 2025's lows right now, down here. Way under. 74K is 2025's low. So you're trading back down into 2024 levels. You don't need to catch 67,201. You just need to get in down here near the lows. As long as you do that, if Bitcoin goes back into a bull market and starts making fresh all-time highs, you're going to double your investment, right? So you don't need to catch the low. Trying to catch the low is a fool's errand. It just is. Anybody that's still trying to buy Bitcoin today, the only edge you had to be a buyer in Bitcoin today was this wick and this consolidation. So the only way you could even consider being a buyer today is if price liquidated these lows and then returned back up inside that range. That would be the only way you could even think about buying it. Since it is currently trending lower, there's no telling how low this can go. Bitcoin is currently down 7.25%. It's down just as much as it was Saturday. Yeah, we're probably going to see a capitulation style candle one of these days. But trying to catch that will be so difficult, damn near impossible. It can be done. I have caught wick lows before. But you're just looking for bragging rights if you're trying to do that, right? A long-term investment thesis is simple. I want to buy at a cheaper price and someday sell it for a more expensive price. So the price isn't determined. So you don't need to try to catch these lows. You don't need to try to catch this volatility. To be honest with you, as long as volatility is expanding, that's telling professional traders that there are more than likely lower prices coming. So be very careful, man. Not man, I'm not yelling at you. I'm basically speaking to everybody. There's new people are constantly coming in and going out, coming in and going out. So I'm talking to everybody. Volatility is expanding right now. Chances are the lows are not in yet. I mean, hell, you're making fresh lows every 5 minutes. When that's happening, you got to let that stop. You need to build in like a few weeks with a low, let it become a local low. You know, we get some weekly bearish or weekly bullish divergence, a signal that will cause other people to buy. We want to buy with those people. Right now, there is no buy signal. There is no buy signal. Nothing is alerting people to buy this yet. That's why it's just going. You have accumulation happening on big investors. Eventually, it's going to bounce. Then we'll take care of it. We're going to let that happen first. VIX up to 2288. Yeah, this morning, it was looking prime for this to take place. We kind of expected this. I said this morning before I went live on Twitter, be careful. Today could be a nasty day. Nasty. It's turning out to be a nasty day. So hype still has not broke down yet, but it does still look okay for a breakdown move, especially if Bitcoin keeps pushing on lows. But for anybody just joining us, we have short trades open on this. We're looking for another leg to the downside today. And we had shorts on gold. So there's gold giving that spike, but it didn't quite get up to where I'm looking for the short entry. I've already taken $700 worth of profits off the gold scalp. I'm looking to put more on it. However, it's into a support down here, so it's kind of hard to add right here. I was wanting to add on 58.93, or 49.45. Those were the two places I was looking to add to my position. Here's what we currently have working on now. Nvidia is making a little bit of money as it's trending down. Here's that gold position. We've realized $710 worth of gains. We have 200 unrealized dollars there. So basically what we want to do is we want to add on a pullback up into here. This is not gold, sorry. Wrong one. Here's the gold trade. We want to add on a correction up into what I said, 49.47. That's up here, right in here. So if this candle could push up into there and fail, we would add to this position. We would put another $600 or $700 on this position and look for another lower move. We've taken two trades on. We hit it yesterday, or I hit it yesterday. I took profits here and I added to it this morning, took profits again. So I'm looking to put that third trade on it, but I need it up here. I can't put it on down here. So the first take profit was $400. The second take profit was $300. I want to do that again if I can. Take profits again at another $300. I want to scale out as it goes in my direction. And it hasn't really done that yet. USD JPY, I'm also holding a short on this at 157.255. So right in this area. I want to see this level hold today. So if the stream ends and this is still chopping inside of this price action, I'm okay holding shorts as long as no 4-hour candle is closing above this white line. If they are, then I might have to bail because my stop is literally setting right there. I don't want to get stopped out. But as long as it's trading under this white line, I am wanting to hold short position. And we're just kind of waiting for these things to start working. I think they will, but we'll see. And then hype was the main candidate because we've been keeping an eye on it. We got a rejection. And then this was a higher, it was a lower high compared to that other day. Yeah, okay, perfect. It was still a lower high than yesterday. As long as it's lower highs, we want to look for short. Up near the highs. I was able to also scale out of that one. Earlier this morning, I caught that move down. I scaled out. So I just added to it a little bit, but it's not breaking down. I mean, it is. There's only 27 minutes left on this candle. And right here, well, actually, to be honest with you, right here is support. So in 27 minutes, if this candle closes under this, then that means moving forward, I'm okay as long as it's not making higher highs. So this high would be the high that I would want to watch for the rest of the day. And then hopefully what happens when the new candle opens, you might get a wick up into here. And then I would want to see that wick slowly start to fade. And then maybe the next session candle will be the candle that breaks down. I'm looking for the trending move. That's what I'm trying to catch here. The first short was taken here on this wick up here. As it traded up, I shorted 4-hour supply. As it pushed down, I scaled out. Yeah. I wish gold would give me a move up here and then a failure. Because it looks like someone's buying gold. Because it's like, finally it broke down. Never mind. Finally it broke down. But this could be a trap. We'll see. It's not acting like a trap. We'll see. All right. Am I concerned at what? Why would I be concerned? I've made a lot of money today. I've been nailing this stuff, man. I do the best. Like, my trading account outperforms when the markets are trending. So as long as markets are trending, it doesn't matter to me which direction, up or down, it does not matter. If they're trending, that's when my portfolio or my P&L explodes. When markets are choppy, that's when you eat a lot of stops. You will eat more stops in a sideways market than you would if you catch the trend. So no, I'm not concerned at all. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, right? Identify opportunity and then pounce on it. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Am I concerned about Bitcoin? No. Bitcoin will bottom. BlackRock would not have put out an ETF if BlackRock thought Bitcoin was not going to go up. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Think about it. BlackRock would not have an ETF if BlackRock thought investing in Bitcoin was stupid, dumb, and useless. It's going down. BlackRock knows that Bitcoin is probably not going to go down. I mean, to zero or be done or whatever. No, they invested because they saw an opportunity. They did their research. BlackRock is not concerned about MicroStrategy destroying Bitcoin. Otherwise, BlackRock would not have gotten involved. And you can say that for every billionaire investor that's in Bitcoin. Every single one of them. They have done enough research. They like it. They want to own it. That doesn't mean they'll be right long term, but they have a really good track record. So I want to follow the ones that have really good track records. I want to be like positioning my portfolios in the same way they are. Yeah, BlackRock is not short Bitcoin. They are literally long. They have to be in order to give you an ETF to trade, so they can charge you fees on that ETF. If they don't make money on Bitcoin if Bitcoin drops. Wes said today in the Discord that what they own in Bitcoin is only 1% of their portfolio. BlackRock has a trillion, like $12 trillion of assets under value. So 60 billion in Bitcoin is not much compared to what they have. I get it. But for them to even think about it, they would have to see something they like. They would have to see upside potential. And they did. They did in 2024. BlackRock's in it for the long haul, guys. They're good. They're not closing the ETF doors. You got to be careful when you listen to I call them entertainers, but you know what I'm talking about. Everybody that's on YouTube, and I mean, I'm on YouTube too, I get it. But the way you need to approach it is everybody you follow on Twitter and on YouTube, you have to look at it and you have to tell yourself 90% of the people I follow fail at trading. They fail. That's what the stats tell us. 90% of people that try to do this fail at it. So 90% of YouTubers fail at trading. 90% of people on X fail at trading. Just because you're following them and they have some good takes every now and then, it does not mean that they profitably trade. A lot of people, I see posts of $15,000, $10,000 Bitcoin. Like, I don't see that ever happening. Bitcoin's 200 exponential, or not even exponential, simple moving average is a very good average to look at. Long term, right? Look at the 200 week chart on Bitstamp, so that way you can see all of the data. Like Bitcoin's lifelong data, not just what Coinbase has. And look at this 200-week EMA or moving average. Okay, what has it done consistently over Bitcoin's history as a tradable asset? What has it done? Consistently, it has moved up. It has continued to move up. Yes. 200 simples do not do that on shit assets, on garbage stocks or garbage futures or garbage anything. Commodities are a little bit different. Obviously, they're used in infrastructure and stuff like that. So I would say Bitcoin is more of an investment vehicle than a commodity. It's not useful for anything in the infrastructure that makes up civilization other than money. It's money. It's good, sound money, right? We would know if it wasn't, if this average was above price and heading down long term. That's an asset BlackRock will never invest in or open an ETF on. This is a very good, very constructive chart long term. Is it volatile? Absolutely. If you can't stand volatility, Bitcoin is not the right investment for you. Volatility happens on Bitcoin. It does. Now let's go look at the 200 on MSTR though, because I don't want to come off as like massively. This is the wrong indicator. I want to show you everything. I want you to see it for yourself. So here's the 200 here. So let's turn this one on. Look at this asset long term as well, right? MSTR, long term. So there for a little bit in the early days, back in 03, MSTR was not a very good investment. Right? As it didn't really trend up. It kind of was just stagnant. Don't look at the individual candlesticks. Just focus on the average. The average is what's important. So then right in here is when MicroStrategy started to partake in Bitcoin. He had to, right? He had to save his company. And the best way to save his company was to become a Bitcoin treasury company. Was a brilliant idea. It saved his company. But notice how the moving average now starts to move up. So I would say MicroStrategy from 04 all the way to 2020 was a shit investment. It was garbage. Now look at the average. Don't worry about price, just the average. So, yeah, I mean, does it get under the average? Yes. Can it spend a long time under the average? Yep. Yeah, it can. It broke the average here. Didn't really go anywhere for a long time. So you lost it in May 2022. So May 2023 was a solid year. You made it basically all the way to October. So Q4 of 2023, almost, a year and a half under the average. But eventually, it stopped going down, right? It built in this long-term base. That's what we want to see happen again. And we will see that happen again. This near-term volatility will decline. Volatility does decline. It will decline. I am not worried even in the slightest. This is normal operating procedure in a bear market. Normal operating procedure here. Absolutely. And when this is happening, this is when my portfolio absolutely. So like, think about this. Some of you are going to have a job, a full-time job. I get it. And it's not as easy for you to accumulate Bitcoin as it is for me. I get it. But if you can learn this skill, then you can build up your Bitcoin bags with never spending a single dime of your own money. I own quite a bit of Bitcoin for the average normal working class family. I own quite a bit. Like anybody that fits that criteria would love to have my wallet. I am currently building the second one up, and I am not spending a single dime of my hard-earned money. I am using trading profits to do so. It's a fantastic time to be alive. You need to learn how to do this stuff. I can definitely help you. I'm not a rocket scientist. If I can do it, you can do it. It's a great time to be alive. This technology is phenomenal. Hype is still refusing to roll over for us. So even though Bitcoin is still kind of expanding to the downside here or intraday, it is not helping the hype train. I want that to roll over in a big way. It is still bullish. Here is your weekly open on hype. So you can see why it's kind of struggling to get back down in this area. Because if in any normal conditions, not with volatility expanding, but like just normal sessions, like pretend Bitcoin isn't getting destroyed right now, this would be a buying opportunity for us. We'd be looking to get long because it's trading above the weekly open. It's a little bit too far below the VWAPs for me, but still, like, as long as you're above this, you're not bearish, you're bullish. You're up on the week. But it is heading in the right direction for us because we are short. So I do want it to roll over. It's just struggling to do so. December's open is a high time frame objective level. Just like the yearly open, it forces people to do things. So that's why you're seeing a lot of give and take here. I call it wiggle. Price is wiggling here, if you will. It's aggregating above, it's aggregating below. It's just kind of like can't make its mind up because people are doing things because of that level. Gold is breaking down. It is making a lower low. Yeah, going lower. I wish I would have been able to add to the gold short before it broke down. It is what it is. Nvidia did make a lower low. It took out yesterday's low. It is bouncing. You've got Q4 of 2025's low down here. January's low right there. So you're kind of in the middle of potential support. This is what it looks like on the monthly, so you can see what is taking place here. You did break down below last month's low. That's January's low. So as long as you're below that, you are threatening a bigger trending move to the downside. Objective monthly support or the lowest monthly close is here. You're also below that. This month just opened, so there's still 22 days left in this range. But our next downside target is here. If we can break below that, then you could see a larger trending move take place down to 162. But it is currently now trending to the downside. We shorted it up here originally. We took another short the next day right there, but it's starting to trend lower. You also have the daily 200 here, so it might take a few days to get through this. Unless volatility just explodes to the upside. In that case, maybe it just breaks down. I don't know. But it is heading in the right direction. Tesla, yeah, I mean, you're trading under yesterday's low, so you're doing the same thing there. You're trending, and it is a fresh breakdown. Here's January's low as well. So once we broke below this, we kind of knew that we were no longer a range bound. So downside targets on Tesla, 382.78. This obviously is the next level to break. If it's going to break. Tesla usually gets bought up. So whenever you have a couple months of negativity in a row, people come in and buy Tesla. Oh, I mean, I could see Tesla rolling over and becoming a lot worse off if the rest of the market does. Bitcoin's starting to work on some lows. Ethereum looking absolutely bad here. Here's the 200. Ethereum is currently 20% off of that. Wow. Let's go look at this real quick. So the last time something like this happened to Ethereum, let's go see what it did. 43% under the 200 is where it bounced from. So hypothetically speaking, it's done it once before, it could do it again, right? Kind of in the same place here. So we never know when the lows are in, but once a low is cemented, as long as it's being defended moving forward, then you can look for entries in and around that level. But right now it is currently trending. Next potential downside on Ethereum is right here. 1751.45. That's the next multi-month time frame level to liquidate. So anybody that bought back in May of 2025 inside of May's candle, their stops are probably just under that price. And then, of course, new buyers that continuously trying to pick a bottom, they're going to help price continue lower until it's exhausted. Once it's exhausted, it'll bounce. The week looks rough. There's Monday, so there's your weekly open. Set the weekly high in, and then see ya. Looks bad. MSTR's on the lows still. Yeah, things are looking rough. Gold's still struggling to break down. Oh, and so is this. This is struggling to break down too. I didn't look at the JOLTS data. Was it good? 7.2 million was forecasted. The prior was 6.92. That's a miss, right? Wonder what's going on. I mean, at least it's not making higher hourly highs. That's good for now. But big level here. It's got it. It could take more time to break down. Hype is bouncing. This is what we don't want to see here. We want this thing to roll over. A big move lower before the bell, and then nothing since. Literally nothing since. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Bitcoin just lost, resting down on the 5-minute. Yeah, it's trying to chop a little bit right now. I appreciate you, brother. You're right. I followed your advice since COVID. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, Heath. I have followed you so many. But, man, you are the most calm and logical investor trader out there. Crazy that only 50 people watch right now. My respects. I don't try to focus so much on the channel. I mean, I could have probably done better, but I'm happy with the people that I have here, because if I can teach a few people, that's what I wanted to do. That's what I set out to do, is help people do this in a more simple, more effective way. Something that you don't need a college education to understand. You just need a little bit of time on the charts. Once you understand basic things, you can start deploying the strategy. Nice trail stop set. Oh, that's Boer Bull. He's literally calling out trades in the chat. So wait, what? 150K during COVID. I don't understand. COVID, this man has made me more than 150K during COVID. That was my only income. Thanks. I don't know if you're talking about me or somebody else. It's a tough guess, but where do you see Bitcoin bounce targets? Well, unfortunately, right now, there's not many. You're currently like in the middle of, so like it might take a few days here because it's 2021's high, but it's also pretty close to 2024's midpoint. So in a sense, like speaking in terms of candlestick analysis only, we generally expect these areas to act as support. Now, with that being said, are you going to be able to find buyers at the midpoint of that candle? I mean, yes, people will buy there for sure. But is it going to be enough? So here's the midpoint of 2024. You got a 618 retracement level down there. It is a Fibonacci retracement level, but people use Fibonacci retracement levels. People will look for every level to buy. Everybody right now, especially because Bitcoin is breaking down, is looking back on the left-hand side of the chart. You know what I mean? They're literally looking for levels here because they know every single daily swing low is where those liquidity, where those pools of liquidity are, right? And unfortunately, to me, it really doesn't matter. I mean, the price does look for liquidity, but once it's exhausted, it rejects. It goes in the opposite direction. $69,000 is also a big figure number. So, I mean, honestly, we'll see how today closes. It will be important today. I think given everything else that's going on, I mean, unless the second half of today is really brutal, you may be getting really close to putting in a near-term low. We've already looked at this bearish move and seen that we have hit the measured move perfectly. So the COVID scare, right? Not COVID, but the tariff scare. Like, that's your measured move right there. So people, short sellers will be looking at this and see that the measured move has been hit. So that will cause some traders to start shedding profits, to start realizing gains. Once you start realizing gains, more and more people do it, you see a short covering rally. So in my opinion, unless volatility explodes to the upside and you see like a massive liquidation drop, as long as none of that happens, you're probably getting pretty close here to the lows, at least a near-term local low, I would assume. I still don't necessarily want to buy that though just yet, because every single bounce that you've had up until this point has been faded. But I mean, I wouldn't anticipate a much larger move from here unless some really bad news comes out. So like this Jeffrey Epstein stuff is coming out. You've got literally like just hit after hit. The BIP 110, that's causing a lot of uncertainty. It's a soft fork. It's a hostile takeover of the Bitcoin Core developers. Like, people don't like stuff. When you start messing around with the fundamentals of an asset class, that's going to cause uncertainty. It's just, there's just too much going on for me to be able to accurately say, yeah, we're probably going to bounce tomorrow or Sunday. Like, just too much. But as far as measured moves go, you have an absolute perfect measured move from the bear flag breakdown. It's literally perfect. It's even a little bit extended at this point. But it does feel like there just isn't, it does feel like there just isn't anything that's going to stop it, right? It feels like that now, but, and you'll see. Couple weeks from now, the local low will be in, and people will, some tunes will change. Some people will be looking for bearish continuation instantly. It's a mix. It's a mix. It's very weak. Sentiment is terribly weak right here. And like I said, also, I don't know how many people are still focusing on the MVRVZ score like they used to. Used to, they focused on it a lot more, but you're still pretty far off of that. But if we look at like long-term holder supply, it's a good indicator. I like to look at it. You can see the heavy sell side has done. You're starting to see it ramp back up. So people are accumulating these lows. It just don't feel like it because price is continuing to meet new lows or make new lows, but they are accumulating. People are buying. Eventually it will exhaust the supply. Eventually it will happen. And then you'll go into like a 5 or 6 week range. You know what I mean? And then maybe you get one more move lower and then that sets the low. We'll see. If we could get like a weekly bearish divergence signal, that will do a lot to help cement the low. A lot of people are waiting for a weekly bullish divergent signal. When they get that, they will start buying Bitcoin. What was I coming over here? There was something else I was coming over here to look at. I think a lot of the near-term order flow is being dominated also by here, fear and greed index. It's right there. Never mind. I was overlooking it. It's right here the whole time. So we're on crypto. Let's refresh real quick. You're in extreme fear. The sentiment is terribly negative. This guy's bullish. That guy didn't care to post. Bullish. I mean, they could say they're bullish too and not be like bearish. Nothing, bearish, bullish. There's a lot of bullish people. There's a lot of bearish people. Sentiment is really bad though here. Really bad. All right, let's go back to the charts real quick because we are starting to see a little bit of something here. Come on, break down. Let's go. USD JPY did not break down. In fact, it's still holding support here. I don't want to see candles closing above 156.98. Gold still refusing to break down. I mean, there's a lot of push and pull here, so I figure a big move's coming on gold pretty soon. Either a giant upside spike, which I would be happy with. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. But what we're looking for here on gold is, okay, let me do this real quick because there are quite a few eyes in here, and I know some of you want to look at gold. So the cumulative volume delta indicator is definitely telling us that there's massive sell side aggression in here. People are market sell, right? But price is refusing to break down as of yet. That could indicate that there is a iceberg order sitting down here, or some big person is soaking up all those asks off the bid. So you could see an upside spike and liquidate all of these near-term shorts, because this thing's been trading between 4,879 and 4,818 since 7 o'clock this morning. So 2 hours prior to the New York session open, and then 2 hours after. So you have a lot of buildup of stop losses right here and right here. So you could see a spike in either direction. I have a short side bias on gold as long as it's below 5K. So right here is gold. So you can see where my short entry is here. I already scaled out. I took profits. I'm waiting for the ad. I'm looking to add at 49.47. I'll show you on this chart because on that chart it's a little bit different. So right here, you see this big breakdown candle. This one candle is dominating the entire daily range of gold today. So from when the futures market opened last night to right now, this was the only candle that really gave you a move. So since you haven't made a fresh low yet, If it does go up, right, instead first, if that iceberg is successful and you get that upside spike, I want to watch it reject either here, 48.94, or here, 49.45. So basically, if you break out above 49.45, I'm going to close that gold trade, wait for it to trade sideways. Today's Thursday, so you're coming to the end of the week anyway. So the weekly range is pretty much in. It's a bullish week. This is your VWAP for the week. Gold's price is bullish on the weekly candle. It's just right at the open right here. That's also why it's failing to get like a large breakdown move. So if it closes like this, or even bullish, then it's going to look like the buyers are trying to defend. I would say 4,500. 5K is a big level because anybody that didn't get out on the blow off or on the large down move, they were probably distributing as gold was pricing up into 5K. And that's what's caused a little bit of near-term resistance. So you can see how you pushed up into 5K and then slowly started to like reject. That's all that distribution coming in from all the people that didn't sell up here. The reason they didn't sell up there is because they had no idea how much higher it was going to go. It wasn't until you seen this like blow off move. Professionals don't sell in this volatility like this. They'll wait for it to grind back up, then they'll distribute their orders. And that's kind of what we see happening here. So as long as it can reject 5K, I would be looking for short side setups on gold. If it's above 5K, I'm not going to be shorting it because it could go much higher. But as long as it's trading under that, I'm more than game to short it again. Hype is actually starting to break down here. Good. Now, if we can start seeing some of those longs get liquidated, we could see a larger price down. And that's what I hope happens because we can take profits and we'll be golden. All right, let me answer a few more questions. Maybe back to 80K before down further. It's absolutely possible. A bullish rally could happen because of short side covering. A short side covering expansion is called a dead cat bounce. So basically all of your heavy shorts, not small shorts, heavy, like big money shorts, they start scaling out as price goes lower. They're scaling off those trades. They're taking their profits, and eventually you exhaust all of that stuff, and then you just get this massive spike. Could it go all the way back up to 80 from here? Yeah. I mean, I don't see it happening in one day, but it could definitely happen in 2, maybe 3 easily. This is literally just a couple days. The beginning of the week was kind of slow. Right here is Monday. So this was the open of the week right here. Monday, you put in that lower move and then bounced. And then Tuesday, you had an expansion lower, closed lower. Wednesday was not that big of an expansion. It was a down day. You did make a lower low. But compared to, Tuesday's range, it wasn't massive in size. Today, you're seeing massive in size. So yeah, you're down 8%. Bitcoin could rally up 8%, 10%, 15% in one day, but it would be that, that exhaustive move, that capitulation style move. So yeah, I mean, it could definitely get back up there. $78,644. That is the February open. That's your monthly open. You're trading in February right now. So the monthly high will be the line in the sand for sellers. So any pullback, slow as it may be or as aggressive as it may be, any pullback into February's open and February's high, which is right here, would be new short setups. I don't know if they'll make money up there. However, you can bet your bottom dollar that people will throw on, I will throw on new short setups up there. Absolutely. Because if it's failing to make a trending move above February's high, that means the sellers still could be in control of order flow. Yeah. So that will be the next, I think, like a potential, the next big short trade will happen up here at 78, 79. Those are objective levels, so people will have their eyes on them for sure. Now, you will also have it's the first week of the month. You will also have aggressive sellers trying to sell 72.5. I mean, you'll have sellers trying to sell. You got small time frame sellers trying to sell down here right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's impossible to know where it's going to bounce, to. We'll just allow price to do its thing, let it move, let it aggregate, whichever way it wants to. And then when we get the setup, we'll take it. MicroStrategy, MSTR follows out or leads Bitcoin. Right now, it's leading. It's leading to the downside. MicroStrategy is down 70, Bitcoin is down 40, so it is absolutely leading. It also leads on upside breaks as well. So if you go from the all-time high, which is an accurate way to measure it, it is down 79%. 79%. If you go from the current, or let's say, because this high was actually put in 2024, so say go from 2025's high, right here, down, you're still leading. No matter how you look at it, whether you're going from, you're probably even leading on this year's open to the downside. Let's see real quick. So just from this year's open that just happened 5 weeks ago, right? You're down 27% this year alone. So Bitcoin is down what? Let's make it bigger. %. So, I mean, MicroStrategy leads. It leads. If Bitcoin has an up move and MicroStrategy lags that up move, then there's still heavy selling pressure in MSTR, but it usually leads. It's a more volatile asset than Bitcoin because it's like a 1 times or almost 2 times levered Bitcoin ETF. Or you could look at it as like, because MicroStrategy owns so much Bitcoin, MicroStrategy has effectively become a 2x levered futures perp, right? It's like it's a futures product now. So people are betting on MicroStrategy going lower, and that's helping bring down the Bitcoin price. Hype, not quite. Or is that a fresh day low? Low 31,086, 31,805. It is. That is a fresh day low. That is good. That's what we want to see. Now we want to see continuation. Big level here for it to break through. I don't know if it can, but we'll see if it does. We're getting close to where we can scale out on profits. Here is that position. So we're starting to see the trending move take place. This is really what we want to see. It would be much better if it can break below and close below. But yeah, I scale out when I can take $300 profit. I've already done that once today. There it is. So in a sense, I can't take profits just yet. It isn't made it there, but hopefully if you were able to get filled, you can, right? Depending on your leverage, depending on your position size. maybe you can go ahead and take profits. It isn't down from very far from the New York Open. This is the high that we made during the New York Open. You're down roughly 5.5%. So you should be able to take profits on that move. From this high to this low, that's more than a big enough percentage move in the right direction for you to scale out. My position size isn't big enough. If you remember, I didn't get filled, so I needed to go a little bit lower. If it trades sideways all day here at 35.7, I'll just go ahead and scale out anyway. Whatever it is at that point, I'll just take it and be done probably for the week. To be honest with you, it was a great week. It was a great week. So, I mean, literally, tomorrow will be the last day of the week. You could see downside continuation tomorrow on a lot of things, but you could also not see it. Gold is still just being iceberged out here. But it's so weird because it's like not spiking either. I bet this has something to do with DXY. No, gold should be breaking down. Dollar is trending to the upside. So the euro, what is it doing? The euro still has not broken down and made a fresh couple day low yet. Monday's low is here. We're looking for a euro to break down, hit this, find support, then we could buy it if the dollar is going to continue to go down. But right now the dollar is going up. But because the DXY is up today, it should be putting downside pressure on gold. And we are seeing there is pressure on it, but with all of this aggressive selling, I mean, this is a trending move. Look at yesterday's sell side in comparison. Follow my crosshair and price, both. Let me close this indicator. So this little zone right here compared to price, right? So you see this big trending move. These are 30-minute candles. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 candles trending down with just this much sell side pressure. Now look at all this straight down, literally for hours. And gold is not broken down. There's clearly an iceberg order soaking up all those asks. It could break down later on today, like after 1, maybe 2. But if it doesn't break down, I would be more concerned of an upside spike on gold. If it fails to break down pretty much all day, I would be very worried about a big upside candle, an aggressive one. As these shorts are plying it up with the risk, man, and it ain't rolling over. It's like, nah. You're seeing more selling pressure than you actually saw on the blow-off move. Look at that. All of this volume, gold just down, 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 down. There was a big amount of sell side. You're trending under this right now on gold. You're already under that. That means you're seeing more selling pressure today than you saw over here. And it's not going down. So chances are this is going to end up being crazy. A little boop, boop type of thing. And that's going to annoy a lot of people. Because this and this looks like it should break down. Even if you do session volume profile and just look at where the POC is, like most of the volume in today's range has traded here. Oh, it's kind of worrisome when it's not breaking down. So I'm not going to add to the short down here. Maybe up here, if it liquidates this wick high and rejects, maybe. Or 49.50 is that other high, that lower high. But yeah, it's kind of, it's stressing me out because it's not breaking down. Big support zone here. February's open and February's volume weighted average price. Smash that like button, says Janet's thoughts. Yes, please. Thank you very much. If you don't mind, I would appreciate it. The dump is crazy. Glad I sold at 116. That was a good sell. Got to start looking at re-entries now. We dumped so quick. I agree with that sentiment. I like your channel also, first timer. Thank you. Hey, welcome. Welcome. I'll do my best to get you on the right track. 48K looks great. Area to buy as well. Yeah, I like 48K. I do. I like it because that puts you below the 200 simple. The 200 simple right now. The 200 simple right now is at, I think it was 57, 58. So yeah, 47. Anywhere in here would be decent area, I guess. I definitely want to see those lows built and protected. I would love to see a weekly bullish div signal on the RSI as well. Give us some kind of bullish signal to bring other buyers in as well. So the VIX looks like it has put in a high of 2310. Yeah. 2310 is the high right now on the VIX. A very volatile day. Nvidia is still roughly about where it was earlier today. It's struggling to break down here because you're coming into Q4 of 2025's low. It's an objective level of potential support. I mean, you're still range bound here on the longer range. You see what I mean? Like this candle's range, you're still trading inside of that. If you break down from that, then you could see a larger trending move take place on Nvidia. So this is like kind of the line in the sand, if you will. Same thing happened to Bitcoin. On Bitcoin back in October, once you lost that June low, it was just like, see ya. It dumped, right? It puked right here. Sorry, July low. See how you were like just 4 months here trading inside this July candle, and once you broke below that low, it was like, bleh. Something similar could happen to Nvidia here. So bulls are gonna try to defend that area. It could take a few days. Also, the 200 daily is a buying opportunity for some people. It was a good move this week, though. We definitely nailed that. It was beautiful. In the future, I mean, right now, I fully expect market makers to sweep before dive. Yeah, I mean, you're going to see a lot of games played down here for a while. Yeah, I agree. Thank you, says KF. You're welcome, my friend. 12-week candle on silver is the ugliest thing I've seen. 12-week. So that's what, like a quarterly? Let's look at it. Let's do XAG on Oanda. I got a quarterly here, but let me just... Yeah, it's a very ugly wick. That is a rejection, a swing high failure. As you could not continue above that point, so it is a swing high failure. I mean, they're pretty close. Maybe there's like 1 week off or something. But still, I mean, to be honest with you, silver isn't really doing anything as far as trend yet. That's January's open. So there's your yearly opening range. You're still trading above it. You did reject and you came all the way back, and you came back quickly. So yeah, but once you lose this, people are going to have a downside target of 56. Think about that. The very next major liquidation zone on silver will be 56.18. That's if it can break down below 71. Yeah. Wick. Yeah, I guarantee people are trying to buy here. It's still a little bit early. So we got a slight move down and a bullish aggressive reaction down there. Bitcoin's still just chopping here. I don't know what's up with hype. Don't have a clue what is up with this thing. It is literally being bought up. All right, USD JPY is testing 4-hour supply. So right here, right now, is the line in the sand on this trade for me. Oop. So right now, you're testing that level that I don't want to see any closures above. I would love to see it just tag that and reject, but only time will tell if that's going to play out or not. So you did see slight yen strength come into the markets today. That kind of looked like a risk-off look, but I mean, you have dollar strength helping. Let's see what the yen is doing, or what it did. Yeah, it's not really doing anything, since it's just kind of, yeah. Not trending. Not trending. Euro USD still got some work to do. The dollar is fumbling here. You're already above Monday's high here. So it does look like a trending move on it. Your daily 21 exponential moving average is right here. So today could be a trap. Okay. Today could be building in a bull trap. Tomorrow, depending on how today closes and where it closes, obviously, if it was real close to the close right now and the dollar looked like this, tomorrow's session, which will start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight, because it's a futures and Forex product, I would be watching 97.91. And if you open up, liquidate that level, and then fail, that might be a better short trade on the dollar than it is today. So that could be what we're seeing happening here. A lot of sellers don't want to try to sell right here today because of that new Fed chair confirmation. Being a hawkish guy, hawkish Fed chair would be more dollar bullish. So maybe they're wanting to wait and see if tomorrow gives that setup or not. Because the midpoint right now is right there. This yellow line, this orange line is the 21 EMA. So You've seen the sellers come in early this week to try to defend the 21, which in a trending market, that's what you want to see, right? Like here you broke down, you lost the 21, retested it there, then you trended lower, then you put in this sideways to up grind, that short covering rally, and then the sellers jumped on it again and broke it down again. So if they're going to do the same thing here, all the early sellers this week have been stopped out. So you cleared them off the board with today's move. They're no longer involved, right? Most likely they're not. So today's close will be super important for tomorrow's setups. If there is a setup, if you're trading at any point in tomorrow's range, if you're trading above today's high, it isn't a short, because you're at that point, you're trending higher. So it isn't a short. It looks like they're going to wait and see what happens up here on the yearly open. But if you can't trend above yesterday's high tomorrow, then tomorrow might be a valid dollar short setup. We'll see. We'll keep our eye on it. Though you could get long euro dollar. That would be the exact same trade as a short dollar or short DXY. You can see it's literally doing the same thing, right? Your daily 21 is right here. So you haven't liquidated Monday's lows on the euro dollar yet. So today's close will be kind of important for tomorrow's setups on euro dollar. But yeah, hype is full on turned back to green on the 4 hour. I don't like that. I will be okay with it as long as it stays under this high. If this is just a midpoint retest and then it, stops going up, I'll be fine with that. I'll hold the trade for the rest of the day. If you're trading back above this price, which is 33,073, you're trading back above that, it's probably done going down for the day. Maybe tomorrow the sellers show back up again, but I won't like it. I kind of felt like everything was lined up absolutely perfect for this thing to dump. Absolutely dump. It set in that bull trap. I mean, the narrative was so perfect for that short side trade. It was so beautiful. The sellers rejected December's highs. You put in this bullish close back above resistance, and then they puked. I mean, it was perfect. It just isn't giving us the downside continuation move yet. It still might. Like I said, this is an inside candle, so as long as it stays inside this range, I'll hold the short. Would not be surprised to see the beginning of a cyclical bear market as CapEx obligations start maturing mid-year into 2027. I would say we're, not in traditional or TradFi. You're definitely not in a bear market yet, but you're definitely in a bear market in the crypto space. You've been in a bear market for a while. Bitcoin low on most is exchange. Ooh, that's a bad number. 60, 60, 6, and sixes. There's a bunch of sixes. That low is on Bitstamp, 66,459. Let's go look at the Coinbase. 66,555. Maybe it's on Binance. The 66 sixes. No, 66608. Maybe I'm just looking at the wrong product. But all three of those were spot. Those were all spot. Let's just check crypto. What does crypto say? Trading view. 66,642. CME, the big bad Futes, 66,820. It's close. I mean, $66,000 or $67,000 Bitcoin sucks, man. It really hurts the cold storage wallet. Basically at 120, 128, you're off a lot here, right? It doesn't feel good. Almost 50%. That absolutely sucks. I don't want Bitcoin futures. I want BTC. Literally sucks. The cold storage P&L is looking pretty shameful right about now. You're damn near 50%. 50% off. It's on sale. Bitcoin's on sale. The sale is in. Grab your Bitcoins while you can. Yeah, Nvidia's bouncing too. Tesla also bouncing. Probably going to be pretty choppy until about 2:30. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. We've been live pretty long time now. We had to come live early because things were breaking down early. But next Tuesday, we'll be live again on the public channel. So we'll go live about 9 o'clock like normal time. You don't have to worry about it starting so early. Unless stuff is hitting the fan like it was today. If stuff's hitting the fan like it was today, we'll probably go live a little earlier. Because I want to be able to get the setups, get them out. So that way if people want to try and whatever, right? That gives me more than enough time to do that instead of trying to rush through everything and then miss the setup. But yeah, it didn't matter. Nothing really happened. Nothing really happened. I have not been able to take profits on hype. So, yeah. It looks like if it does happen, it'll be later on this afternoon. My position is pretty good up there, but I won't like holding it any longer if it's making higher highs and higher lows on a 4-hour time frame. I will not like that at all. So keep that in mind. Had two areas marked out on the 12-week for Bitcoin. Jan 2024's candle close of 67,200 and March's close of 6660. Pleasantly surprised to see it defend there. Fully expect a test of the 12-week 21 EMA. Yeah, like I said, that measured move from the bearish flag breakdown has been hit. So I'm like you. I think you're probably going to see a little bit of chop from here. Maybe. I would keep an eye on the VIX for the rest of the day and the S&P. If you see like some kind of tragic breakdown there, you could see some more lows today. Be careful. Volatility is still expanding. Check pound dollar is testing the last 3-month high now. I'm watching the current 8-hour open. If it closes 15 minutes above it, is it entry? All right, let's pull up pound dollar. Cable. I'll just pull up forex.com. That's that's who I use for brokerage. Okay, you specifically said what now? The 3-month high, the last 3-month high right here, right now. Okay, I see what you're saying. All right, so it's also simply December's high, right? That's what I have labeled there. So that came in on the 24th of December. That puts this right here in January. So this line is your December high. And you're looking for what? The 8-hour open. If it closes 15 minutes above it. So the 8-hour open. So you want to see a 15-minute candle close above this? Would that be a bearish entry? I'm assuming is what you're saying. Or would it be a bullish entry? Because you're testing December's high, and if it is a support zone, right? So if you just look at the 1 month candle here on the pound dollar or the 1 month chart, you can see for the last 3 months, you've been trending up. So higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So right now you still have a higher low. So I'm not sure if you're asking if it's a short or a long. Oh, bullish entry. Perfect. Okay, so it could be. It's not like my favorite level to see those those bulls step up would be January's open, because that's your yearly opening range. This would be ultimately my favorite place to see those bulls show back up again. If they show back up here at a higher price, yeah, that could be, absolutely, it could be a long. You're actually seeing a lot more downside volatility today on the pound than you are on the euro, right? So I'm kind of curious as to why. Yeah, the pound is down pretty damn good today. Like, you're down almost 1%. Whereas the euro is just choppy and garbage range-bound day, right? So how would I trade this if I was going to buy this tomorrow? I probably would not be a buyer on it today, and I'll tell you why. It's too much momentum. It is still just testing the 21. It's the midpoint, so it's almost like a legit breakdown. But what I could do tomorrow for long entry opportunities is I could watch today's close and today's low. So tomorrow, if you're still interested in pound longs, you'll get a new daily candle today at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know where you are in the world, but that will be a new daily open. If during the Asian session you trade down into this low and then back up into this range, I would fire off a long there and set my stop loss like 25-30 pips under the entry. Because if it is going to be a trap, if this down move that you're seeing today is going to be a trap, then there's no point for price to trade under 1.35177. Okay? So if it is a long, like if you were watching on the smaller time frame charts and you're looking for a long setup, what you want to see is this. You want to see price open a new daily range, head lower, right? Head lower, liquidate today's low wherever it ends up being, because this might not be the day low later on today. So wherever the daily low is, it liquidates that. You want to see it immediately bounce back up into the range. Then you can hit the buy button, set a stop down here, because if it goes down again, right, then this isn't a trap probably. Then it's that downside momentum is legit, and then you would probably see continuation lower, right? But yeah, if you just wick down, get back in, this is what you would be wanting to see. You would want to see that reversal back into the range and then slowly start to migrate its way back away from that level. Because technically speaking, there's no reason for it to go any lower than today's low. So if this is a trap, that's what you need to see. And I would trade it too. Like, that's what I would be looking for, to be honest with you. I wouldn't even give a shit about the 8-hour open. Because at this point in time, you've already established the daily range. It's a big range. That's what's so scary about trying to step in and be a buyer in front of this. It's a big, big daily range. So it looks like the sellers were legit today. Doesn't look like a trap. I mean, that's that's a pretty one-sided market right there, buddy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes momentum is a good arbiter of what you shouldn't do. If you got a lot of momentum coming into an objective level that you're watching, you might want to give it a day or so. Maybe it ain't that day or the next day, but the day after. Because momentum has a way of continuing lower. I mean, just look at Bitcoin. People have been trying to buy Bitcoin daily lows all week long. So on Tuesday, when it traded under Monday's low, people were buyers there. But you can see how that bearish momentum pushed it down even further, like way further. So that would have been a perfect signal for you to say, it probably ain't going up. When you get a liquidation, especially when that is all it's doing, right, is liquidating a high and then it's rolling over, you won't see a ginormous move. It will literally be just that. So when I put that video out on Saturday, we lost the 21 right here on this day range. So this is Friday's high right here. I put out a video on Saturday and I said exactly in that video, if you liquidate Friday's high and then reject back into Friday's range, you should be a seller. I am going to be a seller. Those were my exact words on that video. You see how that wick is just barely above? Like, just barely above. See, it didn't even go to Thursday's high. This was a move to do one thing. Liquidate Friday. And all the pros said, sell, 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 sell. And then that was the reaction after. So this is what I want to see happen to pound, but in tomorrow's range. Just barely peak below and then almost instantly reverse and start heading in the opposite direction. That's what happened to the euro on Sunday. 2 Sundays ago, when we bought the euro, we got a liquidation below December's low and boom, it took off to the upside. Like, it almost didn't give you a chance to even get involved. That's what you want to see. And if you do see that, then you can potentially be a buyer. Just make sure you know what you're going to lose if you're wrong. And never risk more than 1% of your account's equity, because we're going to be wrong so often, usually, right? It's impossible to predict what price will do. So just, yeah, it's not about being a very good direction bias identifier, right? You can throw darts at a dartboard and make money in trading as long as you're good at managing risk. So, yeah, that's what I would look for on the pound, because it does kind of fit with my longer term dollar bias of rolling over. So I would anticipate pound and euro going up. I would also anticipate dollar yen rolling over. So you can still watch that trade. That trade is still being looked at right this very second. It's not like a bearish reaction that I would like to see yet, but it's definitely not closing any candles above it yet either. It looks like it's going to be honest with you. But if it doesn't, that's how I would have fired off a short sell entry right there. Stop up here, because if it continues, I don't want to be short anyway. Because it was extremely bullish all week this week. Look how bullish this thing has been literally all week long. Just straight up, dude. Look at the weekly range. Look at what's down here. And remember, the Fed is being called a hawk all over all of the news channels. So people are calling him a hawk. That's bullish for USD. So typically speaking, I would have wanted to see the rejection if it was going to continue going lower right here. The fact that it's way above that, it's a risky sell. Every single day has been higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Same with today. So when I said this morning, today isn't the best day for the short because it's still trending up, I really mean it. Like, I'm not saying that facetiously. I legitimately mean it. You almost need to be looking for a short on a lower daily high. So, like here. So over here, you're pushing up, higher high, higher high, higher low, higher low, higher high, higher high. So on this day right here, we would not have wanted to short pound or USD JPY because it's trending up, right? But on this day, we seen this reaction. So it did close back inside this range. If today makes a lower high compared to the yesterday's high, we can short it now. And for a day trade, depending on if you got in right there at January's high, you would have made money on that trade. You got a 3-day run to the downside, or a 2-day run to the downside. That's more than enough movement to make money. So we might be a day early looking for the short today on this. If it's even a short, it could just keep right on going up. Yep. Thank you for your knowledge. Appreciate you. Yep. You're welcome. You're good. Bullish entry stop today low. Yeah, I wouldn't take that trade. No way I would take that trade. It could work. Obviously, I don't know what price is going to do, but nope. I would not be trying to put that trade on. Everybody that's been trying to buy today's low has been smoked. You just put a lower low in an hour ago. When you're trending down this hard, you usually will see continuation. Like, I can't see what's going to happen beyond this candle. But if it's going to look anything like this, I definitely don't want to be trying to buy right here. It's a dangerous trade. Like, yeah, just as dangerous as trying to short USD JPY, I guess. Same scenario. You're trending down. Very dangerous. Gold getting near 4,900. Yeah, did it spike up? It did. XA, I don't know how big the spike was, but XAUUSD. Let's go look at it. And we'll wrap it up. Yep. That's what I'm talking about. Keep that in mind if you use this indicator. Whenever you see a trending move like that, it's negative, it's bearish, everything is working out perfectly, but price just literally refuses to go lower. There is a big iceberg order in here. Every one of these wicks are getting hit by it, getting hit by it, getting hit by it, getting hit by it. Eventually, it's going to exhaust the ask. You're going to reprice up aggressively, like you're seeing here. It should have broke down. It didn't. And now it's moving up. So here we go. You've already smoked the prior 4-hour high. That's not great. But this is the high that if it stays under today, I'll be okay with the short. Above that, it's not a sell because this is your daily open. Actually, I'm not sure. Let's go. It's 1,800 hours, I think. Yeah, right here's your day open. And once you get above all that other stuff, that's probably where you're going. So there's no point in looking for a short. Gold does this quite often. It looks like it's going to break down and then it reverses right in your face. Blow. Yeah, I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen. It's a bullish engulfing right now. There's an hour left on this candle. I guess it could reject here, but it's got too much momentum right here, right now. I think the better trade's up here, and that's only if it barely gets up there and then instantly starts to fall away. And then if it doesn't, it's done. I'm pretty much done with it for the week because the weekly range is still very bullish. This is a hammer candle right now. A weekly hammer candle. That's a bullish reversal candle. It's a morning star reversal formation. There's so many people trying to short gold right now because gold, I mean, they think the blow off top has happened and they think it's going to go lower. So they're literally trying to short it. But obviously there's some big liquidity up here still because price is heading right back up there. On the daily, this is actually bullish. I don't know how deltas work on the daily time frame. That's very odd. Yeah, on the 8 hour, it's negative. On every other time frame, it's negative. Negative. So yeah, the short on gold not working today. It might still, because there's still enough time on this thing to close as a bearish engulfing. But the timing ain't right. It's not 9:30 anymore. It's noon. So I'm pretty much done for the day. I'm going to set in the yen trade, the USD JPY, see if it rolls over. If it does, I'll keep that one open. If it starts closing above the level I'm watching, I'm going to get out of it. And then obviously hype is doing something completely opposite to what I wanted to see here. So yeah, this is not what I want to see happening on hype right now. Absolutely not what I want to see. Because same thing, right? Same exact scenario. Well, to be fair, you're not really trending down as good as you are on gold, but same thing. Volume is neat. It's weak. It looks like the sellers are running things. You got a downside move. Why can't it continue? Because there's iceberg orders holding price up. Literally, just, yeah, not good. I don't like it. Don't like it. If it closes back under, I'll be okay. I'll still hold it. But if it continues to push up, I'm not going to like it at all. You've got 3 hours. So you just open this candle. So to be honest with you, it could still roll over because this is happening all within the first hour. As long as it stops going higher than 33.03, I'll still hold the short. Because it could just be a liquidation run, right? Like you got here. See how this traded up above this high, pushed, and then it dumped? You could see something similar here. It's pushing up above this high, and then it could dump. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. But keep it on watch. All right, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you guys on Tuesday around 9 o'clock a.m. See you there. Make sure you guys trade safe. Make sure you trade smart. And as always, happy trading, everybody.